Can I say something really quickly? It bothers me when Chick-fil-A says my pleasure.
Is that like on the packaging or something?
No, when you like order.
Oh, they say that?
They always say my pleasure, and
every single time. It's like the company.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it bothers me. Like, it's not your pleasure. You don't care. You don't care.
I love taking your order, Ivan. This is the most exciting order I've had all day. You wanted fries with that? Whoa. This was my pleasure. No. Thank you, sir. Thank you. What's up, people? Welcome to our little traveling podcast shack we call Otaku, where we set up the hottest takes in anime and video games. My name is Ray, and I'll be your host for this podcast episode. And today we have our fall review, just in time for 2020. Okay. Well, we missed it just by a little bit, but just early in 2025, we're finally going to cover our fall shows from 2024.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that, Miles. In that lineup, we have Ranma 1/2. We have Mechanical Arms. And of course, we have the one that I'm drawing a blank on.
Acro Trip.
Acro Trip. Not Arco Trip from my video. Acro Trip. Took me 2025 to learn that name.
That's why you get gas from Arco, I guess.
There you go. Well, you can get both. You get your anime and your gasoline at the same place while you're at it. And that's my brother Miles, who just with the lifeline, I guess.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to add a little conversation to start.
Well, I'm trying to introduce people to the podcast.
All right. I will now give the baton.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for passing the baton there, Miles. Well, now I'll pass the baton to Ivan. Hello, Ivan. How are you doing, sir?
Good.
Doing good? Well, that's good.
Super excited.
Ready for our brand new 2025 first fresh episode in a slightly new beta recording studio we have ourselves in?
Yes.
All right. Good. I'd rather you have said yes than no. That's a good answer. That's what I was looking for. And I'm also looking for Frank. Hello, Frank. How are we? How are we doing?
All right.
Oh, just all right, Frank? What happened?
The energy's so low.
Gotta bring it up. Gotta hype. All right, guys. Okay, let's do it. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Let's pretend like we actually care when people are listening, that we actually care when we like each other. Let's all just fake it for like the next 2 hours to give people entertainment while they're working, get their hard stuff. We're here to give them the hard facts. Let's try again. Frank, how are you doing?
All right.
I like how Frank's like, no. I'm going to stay to the bit. This is the bit I'm going to stay at.
Yeah, dude, think of Genshin.
You just got your favorite waifu pull, Frank. How do you feel now?
I'm all right.
It's a tough start for 2025 for Frank.
Now you got like two duplicates in a row, maybe 2 5s. That and then
Constellation.
Yeah, Constellation. That's what it is.
Does that get you excited?
I got a slight raise there. It's like,
And people call me the tough critic on this podcast.
Oh no.
Something that gets you excited.
I'm just bummed out. The Lions lost.
That's true.
Yeah, well. Yeah.
Don't worry. The Rams will succeed. Fingers crossed. Let's see how this ages well or poorly in the future.
Someone needs to stop the Chiefs.
Someone has to. They can't keep getting away with it.
Am I the only one that's rooting for them?
Oh, well, that was Ivan. Everyone, say goodbye to him.
I was like, where the power pick is?
No one.
Let's
and
go.
Ivan's retiring in 2025.
No one likes my homeboy. What's wrong with my homeboy?
You got State Farm or something? You got some discount or something? You can either double check or whatever they call these days.
I like my homeboy.
And that's where we're at now.
See, kids, if you get in commercials, that's how you get into fandom. You just grow and grow. Oh, he's the guy from the commercial. I like him in the commercial. He's funny.
Everyone else, you can't see their faces.
You don't know. You don't know who they are. I don't know who this guy is. I don't know. He plays for some team in blue, I think. All right. Well, with that exciting announcement, I guess we don't want to start with Frank, it sounds like. Let's go to Ivan. Let's see what's he been up to with his 2025/end of 2024 adventures, Ivan. What you been up to?
Well, for starters, I started watching Bleach.
Well, wow, we're starting off the year with a banger, I would argue, but I'm just still surprised. What made you go down this route?
Me.
See, now he's a little excited. Okay, so Bleach is the keyword. Everyone remember Ichigo when Frank's feeling down.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess we were just talking about it. And we're just, I guess, talking about shonens. And I'm like, I've never watched Bleach. I'm like, do you recommend it? He said yes. I'm like, okay, let me start it.
Well, there you go. Okay.
So for Bleach, and I told this to Frank already, and I don't know how your memory is. I'm like in episode 11 or 12, so it's really, really early.
Still early on. Mm-hmm.
So it's like Monster of the Week.
Basically.
At that point still. So I don't really have like an opinion of it. Because it's like Monster of the Week. It's more you're just kind of getting used to like the powers, the rules of the show. The last episode I watched was when he was going to fight the glasses arrow guy.
Oh, okay.
The one that
Ishida, I think his name is.
Yeah, I'm assuming he's one of the main characters too. But
He's in the opening. He's
Yeah.
important.
yeah,
He's my least favorite character.
him.
What do you hate again? What do you have against glass people, Franco?
I don't know. They always like try to be cool. They don't care about.
That's
that.
because we are.
Eh,
Oh, all of us wear glasses except you.
but in anime, it's just this type. It's like the guy you don't like.
So also,
every shonen ever.
So that was the last thing I saw. So yeah, I don't really have like a big opinion because as I said, it's like Monster
still
of the
early.
Week.
It's still early.
You're just getting to know the characters. You got introduced to the tall guy that doesn't see ghosts, but he I guess has a sense for them.
Oh yes.
You got obviously the main girl, the short one. What's her name?
Rukia.
Rukia, yeah.
Mhm.
And then you got introduced to, I guess, the love interest, the
Orihime.
one with the orange.
Orange
hair.
hair. That's her.
Yeah, and then you got introduced the little bear thing.
Con.
Kon.
Yeah. So and then of course the main guy and and I told this to Frank too. The only thing I'm kind of a little bummed out. I feel like it has kind of really bad animation.
Well, let's do a pair out, which is mixed
It's
bag sometimes.
old.
Yeah, but I was telling Frank that I don't know if it's like because it's on Disney now.
Oh.
Where I'm watching it.
Yes.
So I don't know if like they, how usually
It could be a bad rip or a copy.
Yes.
Could be.
Because it sounds muffled.
Oh.
It sounds like it just seems like there was like no care.
I remember this now. You're right, Ivan. It is a bad print or digital copy of that because I remember watching. I'm like, why does this look like shit?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
so,
that's because it's Funimation, the Funimation version.
Oh, there's that too.
Yeah. So and it's kind of a bummer because like everyone knows like I mean I've said it here a lot that I love like older animation, but this is like there's still like bad older animation. So
That's true.
And I don't know if like this is one of the ones that kind of has that, but I mean it's not like affecting me, but it's something like I did kind of like notice, like,
right?
Because it's like those 2000 animes, and you know how like it was kind of a technique where they will kind of blur things.
Mm.
I don't know. I know I've seen other animes that would do it, but they would just kind of blur things. So it's just that's the only thing that's a little off-putting about it. But other than that, like the story, I feel like they're just world building right now, like the glasses guy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm at right now. But I kind of stopped because I needed to catch up with the animes of this. So once this is over, I'll get back into Bleach.
Okay.
Oh, and I get something else too. Is not something that's bothering me, but I really want to see the main girl fight already. But she kind of lost her power right away. I'm like,
I can give you a hint if you'd like a hint, or I could just leave it at that.
we'll leave it like that.
We'll leave it like that.
Yeah, because I want to see her fight, and she's like, we're just waiting, and she's like, oh, my power's like,
She's still charging.
she's still charging. I'm like, but she's funny though.
She's cool. I like
Yeah,
her.
She's funny. Like one of my favorite scenes was when she's like, I need to go home. He's like, and then he thinks like she's leaving somewhere far. Then the next morning she comes out of his closet.
Uh-huh.
So that was funny.
I thought a lot of the humor is funny early on. That's what got me through the little, the setup, bit boring, slower parts of the show, right?
So like her drawings.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They're really crappy looking drawings.
Yeah. I guess like the monster of the week, right?
Yeah, very much.
We
We get beyond that. One little teaser. We get beyond that.
Okay. And then I also have been playing Octopath.
The second one, right?
Second one,
Mhm.
yes. I got. So this is what Frank would know. I got
Uh-huh.
who do I have?
Casti.
Well, I just started her story, so that's the
Uh-huh.
Apothecary, so which is like the doctor. I have
Do you like her because of the anime?
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
does that have to do with anything with that anime, perhaps? Mhm.
I have what's the white mage? What are they called in the game?
Clerics?
I have the cleric. I have the black mage. What are they called?
Not magicians?
Black robes.
No, they have another name, but I have him, and I have the thief, and then
I'm gonna look it up.
I have the thief, and I have the merchant. So I have the 4 characters, and now I'm getting the 5th one, which is the doctor one. It's just like the first one. It's a really fun game. This one is easier than the first one because the first one you really had to grind. So this one you kind of get a lot of power ups. It helps you a lot more. Like so when you start a battle, each character has like a what would you call them? Like a power up?
break?
No, you get those like as you kind of gauge, but like some characters like blind characters,
Oh.
some characters. Yeah, it happens in the game all the time.
In
but
battle or what?
in battle. So like
Passives?
is that what they're called? So when you start the battle,
Mm-hmm.
like characters can blind characters, or they can, they can get a speed boost or something. And then, but you have to activate them in the old one. But in the new one, sometimes you just get them.
They just start off the battle with it.
Yes. So it definitely helps you a lot more.
Right. Like, you don't have to waste a turn doing that.
Yeah. So, and it's just, I guess it feels faster too. Just everything's like more boom, boom, boom.
And you like that, it sounds like?
Yeah.
Versus the slower pace one?
I really enjoyed the first one a lot.
Right, right.
It's not like I didn't like the first one, because I still think the first one is one of like the better RPGs I played in a while. Like for a newer one, it just a lot of like little small details that makes it. But this one definitely upgrades everything. But I feel like I'm still like really early. So
yeah, the scholar.
There you go. for the black mage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's really cool though.
I like him in this one. The other in part one.
I remember
a glasses guy. What can I tell
Glasses
you?
Kun again.
All right. Well, you learned something new about Franklin once again.
Well, you guys are cool.
Thanks.
We're cool for not. It's technically a disability.
Wow, Frank. Wow.
Only that they don't say it because they don't want people to make fun of you. But yeah, we have disabilities.
Dang, Frank.
With our eyes.
Wow.
Let's say like we, like a comet's gonna hit the earth and we lose our glasses. We're like more screwed because we're not gonna know where we're going.
I think if the comet's in, I think we got bigger problems than are wearing glasses. By the way,
or maybe get superpowers or something like that. Maybe you don't have to use glasses anymore.
Yeah. So yeah, kind of like Bleach. I still don't have like a big opinion because it's still like
early chapters, early days.
Yeah, I'm like maybe 12 hours in, but for that kind of game, it's like early.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm just doing like the stories of like the first, because you have 4 stories, right, Frank?
4 chapters.
Yeah, 4 chapters. So you have to go around the world and completing their stories. So you can enter a town and it can have 2 characters can have a story in the town. So you can pick which one you do.
Right.
But kind of a little pet peeve I do have of it, because in the first one, when you got characters and you started the story, you can keep them in when you're completing that new character's first story. But in this one, you only get the one character each story. So I kind of feels a little bit more of a drag doing each one story, because you have to do one character each single time.
Right.
And in the other one, you were able to have already who you had. But I mean, it's not bad. It's not like a big thing. It doesn't really bother me. But sometimes I feel like it's almost like starting the game every single time over and over.
You want to move forward, but you're kind of going back a little.
Yeah, but it's how much do I have left? That's it, huh?
Yeah, that's about it, sadly.
And
a little quick final thought, real quick, something real quick. We could
still been playing Pokemon.
Which one again?
The pocket one.
The trading card game. Oh no, the gotchas every turn.
I'm not gonna say I've been spending money.
So we're just lying to everyone, including ourselves.
I'm not gonna say I've been spending money.
No, you understand? I decline.
I believe Ivan's trying to indicate me his time is up and he wants to move on. I believe.
Would you plead the fifth?
Plead.
And for that reason, I'm out.
All right. Well, with that interesting ending, we'll move on. Then let's see what Frank has been up to in his early days of 2025. What you up to, Frank? What's new with you? Anything exciting you want to share with us and everyone else in the world?
No. Next. I'm just kidding.
Okay, well then, all right. Well, then that saves us time. Editor Ray would appreciate that.
Yeah, it really will be short because I kind of been on vacation, so I haven't had much time to do much.
Any exciting travels you want to share, or you want to keep it a secret? Keep it all right, fine.
You went to a secret island.
Yeah, I actually did go to a secret island.
Whoa!
Well, it wasn't secret, but it was.
Don't tell him, Frank. Don't tell him it's a secret.
So now I'm in a cult now. So now, excuse me. No, I went to an island.
Well, he already plays Genshin Impact, so.
All right. Y'all, you know what? You just reminded me I do have updates. Okay. So first of all, I'm still playing Hades. I ended up watching Bleach a little bit with Ivan. He mentioned that. I'm like, put it on.
He got you. You got him excited. You got yourself excited.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still watching Seinfeld. Still watching Sheldon. Still watching Curve.
Sheldon?
Young Sheldon.
Oh, it's funny, huh?
Yeah. And then what else do I watch? I'm still trying to finish Demon Lord 2099.
Oh yeah, I want to go back to that.
And
how's that, Frank?
It's okay.
Okay.
It's not a must watch. So still trying to finish Yakuza Fiance.
That telenovela.
That one's worse than okay.
Worse than okay. Okay, so it's down one tier.
That's a Frank statement. Worse than okay.
But I love the opening. That opening gets me through it.
It's a catchy beat.
I went to Colombia.
Ooh.
And I did not want to go, but I went.
They forced you.
Yeah.
You wanted coffee beans.
You know, I didn't even drink coffee. The food sucks.
Oh okay, double checking, looking at our stats, and we lost the one subscriber from Colombia.
Oh god.
It's like a Family Guy skit where they say something something random, yeah, and then they'll
just throw the headphones out.
Yeah, they go to that one character like complaining or something.
I'll just say, I guess it's not my type. It's too dry, and we need more salsa or something.
Okay.
No chilies out
Too
there?
many bananas.
Oh, that's true,
Some food was okay. I did try some Venezuelan food, and it was pretty good.
There you go. Well, your next trip.
But I don't know if it was just because they were trying, because it's near the holidays. Maybe they're on their A game.
A little more effort.
It's the playoffs,
Now the holidays are gone. I don't know. New season.
So there apparently is this island called San Andres. That's where I went. It's considered Colombia, but then I was looking at the map. I'm like, why is it 2 hours away?
Oh.
And it was like in the middle of the ocean.
Oh.
Next to Nicaragua. I'm like, what the heck? You shouldn't even call this Colombia no more. I'm like closer to the U.S. than I've ever been. And I don't know. It was okay.
What's happening on the island?
Just a bunch of people dancing and
celebrating Christmas and things like that.
Yeah, I'm just like, I didn't care. I didn't want to go in the water until there was a storm. I'm like, oh yeah,
now's a good time.
Now I feel like I'm in Castaway.
He wants to ride a lightning.
I am Tom Hanks.
Yeah,
you're ready there with your beach volleyball.
I mean, because on the hot days, like it was packed. I'm like,
I see. I get you. I
don't like people. Come on.
Ooh.
But when there was a storm, it was like, hey.
There you go. The beach to myself.
There you go. Yeah. Well, why is it?
I'm also getting also blown away with the wind, but it's worth the gamble.
Why is the lightning there? It's fine. The lightning
probably won't kill me.
I did pull for the new Genshin characters.
On the island.
On the.
Is it a lucky island?
Before the island.
Oh, before the
island. I played on the island, but before the island.
It's not Treasure Island just yet.
No. I guess I finished most of the Archon quest in Natlan. I don't know if I said that I was excited for
the new one,
the Natlan stories, and it was really cool.
I remember this.
I was excited about where it was going.
Oh.
They let me down.
Ooh.
They let me down. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was just like nobody died. Nobody died.
The One Piece problem.
Yes, they talked to Oda or something. I don't know.
They've been reading too much One Piece. Wait, maybe everyone survives. Just everyone's okay.
He's slightly damaged.
So yeah, that was a bummer.
How was the weather?
For them, it was cold, but I was like, I was wearing shorts. What else? Oh, I got maybe Miles knows. I got the Pyro Archon.
Oh, okay.
Mawika.
Yeah. She was a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Vroom vroom?
Pretty cool. I thought I wouldn't like her because thought it was weird, but anyways, so I kind of got into it and upgraded her fully. I got super lucky and I pulled for the weapon and I got it on only one pull.
Wow.
The little I think that's good.
Yeah, 5-star one?
Yeah.
Wow.
Her
I'm never that lucky.
Her signature weapon. The first, I'm like, because it was like my last few that I had. I'm like, I'm gonna just try it because and then the weapons banner's a scam there, so I was just missing home. And I'm like, I'm pull.
Let's pull away. Keep pulling.
And then I was feeling lucky, and I pulled for Citlali. I got her too.
Well, there you go.
I don't know if you know who that is.
She's
no
the
idea.
new one, right? The
she's what?
Water?
No, she's ice.
Ice.
Get it right.
I mean, come on. Wow, Miles. Wow.
Okay, sorry. Let me look at my graphic.
Too much ZZZ apparently.
Yeah, I'm too busy.
I started ZZZ.
Oh no! Look what you've done, Miles.
Hi, welcome, Frank. Welcome.
Well, don't get excited.
I'm not excited.
I already quit.
All right.
And that was it for now. Miles is gonna kick Frank off. Gonna start needing some new calls to 2025.
Okay, so here's the thing. I like the story. I might go back to it just to finish the story.
Right.
I thought I would be excited to like do the story and pull for the Ice Samurai girl.
Yeah.
But then as I was playing, two things came to mind. It's too hard and it's too easy at the same time.
Okay, that's an interesting dynamic.
So it's
curious.
hard because all the bad guys take forever to die.
Oh, spongies.
It's too easy because I never feel like I'm in danger.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just pressing buttons and they'll die eventually, and I'm like, I don't know. This is like I feel there's no threat. There's no threat. This is Boruto. The kids are safe. They're all
Everything's fine here.
everything's fine. Everybody's Hokage level.
Well, it depends. In ZZZ you have to get the right combination of character, kind of like.
Do I? Because I've been fine with any character I choose.
I guess
any
like
level.
like certain. Well, the early game is different because like what it is now.
This is a very long early game. I played like 5 hours, and I'm still like they're still teaching me something every level. I'm like, now you can go here. I'm like, come on, I don't want coffee.
It does.
I want to check the news.
It does have Persona 5 problem, which like there's a lot of like
You're too tired. Go back to bed.
I don't want to set up the videotapes.
That's the worst.
Because before you get to unlock new things, you have to keep playing enough to unlock most of the content. So it does it does take a while. It took a while for me to actually get to the real bulk of the game. Per se.
It feels like a super long tutorial. I just don't have time for it. I wanted to push through it so I can have enough to summon the samurai girl, but now I don't even care. I'm like, why do I need her? I'm fine with the starter characters.
Well, and that's the thing. The problem I have because compared like Star Wars, all the other ones is that you can argue technically with the free characters you get. If again ZZZ, if you level them right, you could get through most of the content.
But like for example, in Genshin, I do feel like a substantial increase in power for the ones that I summon for.
Yeah.
Anyways, too much ZZZ. I tried it, quit it. I'll probably be back for the story later. Who knows? I guess I did do stuff.
There you go.
I played Wuthering Waves too.
Oh, Wuthering Waves. That's the other. That's the other popular one. That's
more gacha games.
That's the other waifu game.
Are these games that end or no?
No. That's the only thing I know about gacha games. They never end.
You know the Pokemon Train Card game. That's basically where we're at here. Live service. We're gonna keep doing this.
But imagine they had 10 of those, and Frank is playing every single one. Frank and Miles are here in the competition. Who's going to play the most of these? Apparently,
I haven't tried that one yet because I think that out.
You should try it.
I heard that the PC client's kind of buggy. That's why I'm very
try it on the iPad.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Take it with you.
Yeah. You know, iPad, put it on there, and you feel like it's the same.
Just gotta get an iPad Pro like Frank, and then you're ready to go, Miles.
Yeah.
This one I am enjoying, but I'm kind of put it on pause because I want to play other stuff like Metaphor, catch up with the anime.
Metaphor one day.
And then so it's there, but it's I'm marinating it. I'm done.
Well, there you go. Well, that's Frank's week. So that means, Miles, it is now your turn, brother, to share with the rest of the world. What have you been up to? What's new with you this year?
Okay, well, the start where Frank left off.
Oh, God. Truly transitioned.
So, it's like we've kind of planned this in a way. Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, boy.
I did finish up to most of the ZZZ content at this moment. There's a new patch next week.
I heard the story gets good, so I'm back in.
It does get good.
That was quick.
The only issue with this game and a lot of the games going forward is that fortunately a lot of the newer content's not voiced anymore because of all the
them too?
Yeah, because
wow, where can we cut corners?
Well, because they have an issue with all the SAG-AFTRA.
They don't want girls.
They want money.
They don't want girls to have a voice, so they muted all of them.
Well, they mute a good chunk here, so it's very weird when especially where I'm at in ZZZ. It's a very problem, like kind of like the Avengers moment, as I call it. It's like everyone's here. Everything's blowing. We're taking down this guy, and he's like the main like Thanos pretty much, and half the characters don't have voices.
I'm sorry. I thought Miles would correct me. That's not the reason they don't have voices. They don't have voices because the voice actors don't want the company to use AI. And they wanted it written in the contract.
Oh, I see. That's the why they didn't.
I thought you would step in.
They're the same thing. Just the detail of why they didn't agree on the contract because of blah blah blah.
Because it's a different thing than
That's
say like
so sad.
Corporations, what can we do? We like to make our profits higher. Let's just cut down on costs. Do we need voice actors?
So they're just making fake voices?
No,
there's no voices.
There's no voices. So
because they're scared people are going to backlash because they're using AI voices. So they're like, well, then there's no voices.
So like it'll be weird because then like
I'm assuming this by the way.
For example, like the big epic climatic file of this patch, the fight's going on, and like attacking, like, oh, you got it, yeah, I got it, and then Silence.
Subtitles.
And then we go. No, not even subtitles. Just
Not even subtitles?
well, actually, no. No, I actually do have subtitles. I forgot.
I was gonna say it must be like an old school, like an 8-bit, 16-bit game where you can read the text.
But
I hope.
after that, then the other characters will chime in. And,
Imagine what they say.
And even in Japanese?
No, Japanese. No, it's only in the English.
So Japanese is fine.
Yeah. Japanese.
Oh,
Then you guys are okay.
well, there you go.
I don't put it Japanese even if they don't talk.
Dub only, says Frank. Dub only.
Yeah. So it is kind of a bummer, but it's out of our control. No, I hope they resolve it.
I mean, I would argue it's in your control. You could put down the game. You could put down the game. That's always an option.
Or Japanese.
I guess that's another choice. Keep the addiction going.
Yeah, but that is pretty messed up.
It's not
Actually,
great.
it's horrible.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, it is kind of a downer, but for the most part, I did got Miyabi. You're talking about Frank, the samurai girl.
Oh yeah, how is she?
She's pretty good. She's probably pretty much like the.
Is she cool?
She does a lot of they always compare her to I guess Virgil from Devil May Cry because he's ice attacks a lot of like you don't need anyone else after her. If you have her, she can clear the whole screen.
I see what you're doing, Miles, and nice try, bro. No.
I'm just saying.
It's kind of like your favorite game, yeah.
There are memes of like
and there's Mega Man, and whoa, it's crazy, and then Sonic shows up.
But I'm actually getting a little interested in playing this game.
Just say you have to say Virgil.
I'm just saying of all three of those games, I would say these is probably the easiest to get into once you get through all the onboarding.
That's not what Frank told me. Conflicting stories here.
Because the problem I say because I kind of delve a little bit into Star a little bit, but that's its own. No, that's. It's gonna be a while before I get caught up with that game, and that it's got new. They're now at 3.0 this last week. They just got to 3.0 now, but that's more work than I want to have to tell. So we've had the gacha games for a second, and
is that possible?
Yes, it's possible. The other game I played a lot of, and I finished it almost 100%, is Astro Bot. The 2024 Game of the Year.
Oh, yes. Mr. Jeff Keighley's favorite, apparently.
Yeah. Oh, I was playing the...
Oh, the demo?
No, the Game Boy one.
Game Boy?
Or DS. Different series?
That's,
Astro Boy.
No, not Astro Boy. He's talking about Chibi Robo. Is that what you're talking about? Chibi Robo?
Astro Boy.
Astro Boy? It's even more confusing.
Okay, sorry. I messed up. I'm gonna say Astro Bot.
Oh, did you say Astro Boy? He might have said Astro Boy.
By accident. Whoops.
Oh, okay.
The PlayStation one.
The PlayStation one. The PlayStation sponsored. Hey, we have all your PlayStation games. We have it here. It's very much. It's very simple synopsis. It's just like if you played the one on the PS5, the one they gave you free on your PS5. It's a continuation of that, pretty much. They go off and I guess aliens take over and try to take the CPU off the PS5. And pretty much breaks down to the PS5 little ship, I guess they're all in, like the Astro Bot drives, I guess, for some reason. And so now you obviously have to get the pieces back, and then you have to get the little robots, and the little robots are all like, they're all like different PlayStation characters over all the years. Because this year, they celebrate 30 years of PlayStation, so every character is in the Astro Bot, that's a PlayStation brand, like your Crash Bandicoot, there's only Hawk Bot. There's everyone's in here, I guess. But overall, it's a simple platformer that it's very challenging. Like Frank might like a little bit because it only takes one hit. So
Crash Bandicoot, you can't get a magical mask to take a hit for you.
The boss fights you do get like two hearts, but for most of the game it's like one hit you're done.
All right.
But there's a quick because on the PS5 game it's a quick reload and you're back in. Like nothing happened.
Is there a live system?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, that helps.
So you make there are checkpoints along the way, like old school platformers. There are checkpoints.
Old school platformers didn't have checkpoints, I'd argue.
Okay.
Semi-modern.
Semi-modern.
I'm old.
2000 platformers have.
I know the Mega Man code if it helps.
Doesn't matter. But I kid you not, the hitbox in Portal Astro Bot is pretty bad because one little graze, you get shocked or you get hit by one little pellet, and he explodes, and then you got to start over again. And there are certain things, challenges like a lot of speed runs, like speed running, and a lot of you can't that kind of remind me like levels from Super Mario Sunshine, which there's those special levels in which they take
the ones
his backpack
become
away.
64.
Yeah, pretty much you got to pretty much make sure you don't die.
So perfect platforming.
Yeah, that's what most like there are special planets that are perfect platforming pretty much. Like if you die, you literally start back in again. So it took me a long time to get a lot of those little robot guys, but overall a good game. It's a game. I know if you start PS5 something, I would pick that game up. It's a lot of good content you get, and there's a lot of free content you get as well. Yeah, a couple like Christmas levels and like more I guess speed challengers. I guess but they're all free.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can see why it won Game of the Year last year. It's pretty good.
Your
it's good.
game of the year?
No,
It won the Game Awards.
The Game
Really?
Award, yeah.
I
It
played
beat out Elden Ring and all these other bigger titles.
I played
No.
that one, the free one. It is fun. It's a fun game.
It's a cute little. Now it's the only one I play. I possibly played the VR one a little bit, but I haven't touched this new one. But I like the little series. It's for a person who grew up in the '90s who remembers mascot platformers. It's one of those, and I like those.
The music's great. A lot of like the colors and a lot of the design of the levels are like a lot of old school platformers. So if you're, I guess for people our age, it's like yes, I remember. But it's also a good game for beginners of platformers as well. Because there's rarely platformer games these days. It's a lot more live service, a lot of gotcha games.
Yeah, who's to blame for that?
Who's the favor that one? Huh?
There's no one on this podcast that gives their money every single day to that, right?
I did not give
Guys?
Not me.
Uh-huh.
We
Not
can
me.
confirm this.
I give my money to Vega.
Me too.
Same.
I was gonna say he looks like the PlayStation robot, and I think it is.
You got it, Frank. You got it.
Yeah, he's like pretty much been their new mascot for everything now. It's but it's a pretty game. If you have a chance, you guys should check it out. You get good content for the amount of money, I guess, like because it's a $6 game. But it's a pretty good value for $6.
So it sounds like you had a lot of fun with that game, Miles. And where did you get this like fantastic game by chance? Was there like an incredible person who knew what incredible game it was? It hooked up.
Someone wants to.
I'm just saying, where did it come from?
All right, I'll thank you, brother. But now it's the end of my turn now.
Ho ho ho! You're welcome, brother. Alrighty, well then now it's my turn. The show you all been waiting for to me ramble about random little TV shows and animes I've been watching during our holiday break. So the first one that comes to mind recently that me and Miles both watch is we watched the Girls Band Cry anime, which we talked about probably like a year ago now on the podcast because I was debating choosing that show or the Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night, which was the one we ended up reviewing because at the time they didn't have the license for the Girls Band Cry, but eventually did like 6 months later. And so I finally watched it. Sadly made the right choice with Jellyfish, and Jellyfish has a lot of problems.
Well,
Worse than okay.
It's
Exactly.
Worse than okay. Good. That's the slogan for this podcast.
I'm going to steal that one from Frank. Basically, that's where I'm at. The biggest problem with that show is it doesn't lie to you. It is about girls coming together to form a rock band. Whoa, you'd be surprised, but then K-on's a lie, so can't believe everything you hear.
Oh, come on. The first minute and a half is great.
Shots.
Yeah. So it does do that. The problem is the main protagonist, she's just basically insane, and she like lashes out on people because it's like, we haven't hung out today. You need to hang out today. What about the band today? And it's just like, I saw you yesterday. You need to calm the beep down. And she's just hysterical and demands and starts crying. And she just looks like a crazy person. And it's just like, why would anyone want to like work and collaborate with this person when they're just insane? So it's just like the biggest turnoff. The animation, it's interesting because it's all CG anime for those who don't know. It does do a fairly good job at it. Sometimes they get a little lazy, especially when it comes to like the lip syncing parts and this that. But it is interesting visually to see, and I like that Toei Animation is trying to push for this kind of animation style because this and like the Slam Dunk movie that we saw now, I guess 2 years now, sadly, is they're slowly pushing that art style, and it's working on me. So I like the idea of it is a creative project and they're having animators work on that. So that's a good thing. The show itself, it's okay if you just skip it.
It's fine. But I have certain caveats. The thing it's a nice tech demo. As I mentioned already.
Yeah, basically.
It's a nice tech demo to say, oh look, we can do expressions. We're actually doing a lot of anime expressions but in CG form. So it's kind of neat to see that because some earlier Japanese CG is kind of bad. But but anything through them, through the Dragon Ball Broly movie and Slam Dunk.
Oh, the Super one, you mean?
Yeah.
The Gohan, Piccolo.
Yeah. But they're starting to get more because I think it's a certain team of Toei Animation. They're getting better at making CG, almost made to Orange probably, or at least close to it.
Something like that. So yeah, there's that guy. What else did I want to talk about? We also saw the Star Wars. Well, it's not Outlaws. That's the video game. Skeleton Crew. I don't know if you guys heard about this or have
I
any
heard
interest.
about it.
I've seen just like the
That's also solidly okay.
cover.
Oh yeah, it's on the Disney Plus. Obviously, it's Star Wars. It's okay. I don't know why. I'd never heard about it, and then all of a sudden, all my podcasts and the my news outlets, all of a sudden they were talking about the show and how great it was. I was like, okay, I'll watch it. It's fine. The quick sell pitch on the elevator sell pitch is it's Goonies in space, kind of, but not really. And that's kind of like my biggest problem is because that's what was sold to me. And I always remember Goonies. It's been a while since Goonies, so maybe I'm misremembering. But the way I remember Goonies, it's a very like campy and very like they're having a grand adventure in the kids, but you're never like really too worried they're gonna die or something like that. You kind of know they're all gonna be okay. But in this one, they're kind of like it's more serious and it just kind of takes you out of it. Like you can't have like the fun of those kids, running around in space, getting into shenanigans. So I didn't find it very funny. And anytime it was starting to like grow momentum, it would kind of stop and like go backwards and be like, no, we're serious and we're lost in space. Oh no, kids, you're in trouble now. So it just kind of went back and forth. If it's serious, it's not, it is, it isn't. Jude Law's good in it, I guess. He's a pirate. He's a pirate, Han Solo-ish type. I guess even worse than Han Solo, because Han Solo does come back in A New Hope. I don't think Jude Law's coming back. I don't think. Well, he could be the season 2 if they're in the show, but I'm not sure he's coming back for the Death Star run. Let's tell you that. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, it was okay. It's not the worst thing I've seen on it, but go watch Andor or something else.
Yeah, it's the most Star Wars thing that's not Star Wars.
They needed to put something out for the holidays, and they did, and it's fine, I guess. What else? Let's see here. Video game wise, I've been meaning to try the Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. That name's still not fantastic. But sadly didn't get a chance to. But the one thing I did do, it's not the newest game, but I get to talk about it for 2 seconds. Advance Wars 2 on my emulation handheld
here
guy.
we go. All right, everyone. Good night.
Wait, didn't that one come out on the Switch?
It did. There's a remake, which I did talk about. And if you remember, you go back to listen to the podcast if you're interested. I didn't care much for the remake.
They didn't bother trying to sell that.
Well, it's talking about corporations trying to cut corners and just putting something out for a deadline. So yeah, I didn't like it. And so now I went back to play it on my Retroid Pocket 5, which I talked about last time on the podcast. So that's what I've been doing mostly in my free time, going through the whole campaign.
Brian's blindfolded, going like, I could solo this.
I am basically going for like almost the perfect run. I sadly missed the perfect. I've done all S ranks, but not perfect scores. I'm sad to say. That's why I have to go back next year and play it again. That's why you gotta have something motivated to keep going. So that's the big thing. And then Call of Duty, I've been playing that again. I guess that's my gotcha.
The gotcha game?
I mean, it's not really a gotcha game. You know what you're paying for. They tell you the price. You're not pulling all day for your magical anime waifu gun or thingamabob. They tell you what it is. And
if you're not pulling, then it's not a gotcha.
Then I'm okay. Then I'm okay to keep playing Call of Duty. That's the one thing. Once again, it's quick and easy to get in and out. They had the Squid Game 2 crossover event. Sure, I guess. I liked the first Squid Game, but I didn't love it as much as everyone else did at the time. So it didn't do much for me, but I mean, I completed that too. Though that's an annoying thing because there's the Battle Pass, which I already did pay for already for the season, and that's about to wrap up this month. Mm-hmm. But to get there's another Battle Pass for the Squid Games, but there's a free one, and there's another one you have to pay like another $10 to unlock like other emotes and skins and whatnot.
Is that Activision once again? Look at that. Wow.
So yeah, money. It's not gotcha, but it's pretty similar results, let's say. But at least you're not pulling for the guy or girl from the first show. Spoiler alert, it's a death game scenario. So you can imagine what happens to them. But yeah, that's really about it. I'm trying to think anything else anime, video game, movie wise since our holiday break. I remember this one more thing. This is why the newest. It's like the newest, and it's still like
Tim Cook
2
now?
years old now. One more thing. Where's my glasses and
turtleneck?
Turtleneck. I guess they both had turtlenecks.
Yeah, turtlenecks. And Steve always has sneakers.
No, that's the difference. But I finally sat down and finished and played through Super Mario Wonderful. What's it called? Super Mario
Wonder.
Wonder. That's what it is.
One?
The elephant one, the 2D scrolling one that came out in 2023, and I even named it my 4th favorite game of the year. And sadly, that's as long as I put it down all the way back then at the end of 2023. But I finally picked it up and I played all the way through. That's a really good game. If you like 2D Mario, it's amazing. It's like the modern Super Mario Bros. 3 to me in my brain right now.
I actually want to play that one.
It's really wow. Frank wants to play a Mario game.
And guess what? I have Mario stickers on my phone.
What the who? Okay, so,
New year. New
all right,
Frank.
guys. There's an alien. They invaded our own podcast because this isn't Frank.
Colombia.
Let's see it.
Big Mario fans out there in Colombia.
Yeah, Colombia Mario.
It makes sense. I mean,
Well, technically
butter and
Mario's not here, but it's Bowser, Baby Bowser, and Daisy.
Daisy, you got to
Oh,
represent.
you don't have my girl, Peach.
No Peach. She is playable in Wonder though.
What was it? I think it was Richard.
Actually, they both are playable. Now I think
Richard
about
was Rosalina, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
Oh,
he's
yeah.
Rosalina.
She
and
is
I'm-
not the game. Maybe she got a mocker now.
I actually got the coin for her, but I lost it in my couch.
The coin.
Oh, okay, cool. So I have these stickers because they had these little boxes,
Oh.
and it was a chocolate. They had some stickers, and they had a
Ah.
coin. And I got Rosalina and I got Luigi, but I lost them both on the couch.
Mm. Over there or over here?
Here.
Okay, well, there's still a chance. We can recover them. So yeah, that was the one thing I played definitely during like Christmas, New Year's. I went back, started that, and I gotta do again. And I finally updated my Steam Deck, so I'm gonna I already put some games on it. And I just need to sit down and play that. And of course, Indiana Jones when I'm sitting on the couch co-op. So fingers crossed, I'll be talking about something new on the Steam Deck, or I guess my good old-fashioned Xbox with Indiana Jones. So look forward to the next time on the podcast. And with that, I will end my week, and we'll move along here on the podcast and talk about our big anime review of fall 2024. So, for those who don't know, basically what we're going to do here is we're going to do a little quick synopsis for you guys, let you know what the show's about in case you don't know anything about it, coming to it brand new. We're going to do a little bit quick impressions and a little recommendation if we liked it or not, and if, tell people, if you maybe like this show, you should check out this show or this or that, right? And then, of course, we're going to do a spoiler talk. But, of course, we have timestamps down below. So, if you haven't started the show yet and you want to check it out for yourself after hearing early impressions, you could go check, jump around and then come back and then check out the spoiler talk. So look forward to all that coming up right now on the podcast. So let's start with, let's go for the classic remake here. And let's talk about Ranma 1/2, which was an Ivan pick for the season. So Ivan, quickly, could you do a little summary of what Ranma is all about for those who don't know?
Yeah.
So,
do that within like next 5 minutes.
Okay, so
And the timer starts now.
So quickly, so it's about the main character Ramana that he's gonna inherit the anything goes dojo. But in order to inherit it, he has to get married with one of the daughters of the Tendo family.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's Akane, there's why am I forgetting? their name?
Subaki?
No.
Am I crazy?
There's I'm so sorry that I'm forgetting their names. But
Wow, fake fan.
anyways,
Natsumi?
Kasumi.
Oh, that's funny.
Akane, and why am I forgetting their name? Anyways, so they choose Akane, and so they're basically their finance.
So when they get married, the whole finances will be together. Yes.
Yeah, so they're to get married.
Engaged.
They're engaged,
Mhm.
but he has a curse. He turns into a girl, and
It happens.
I guess technically this shows that he wants to get rid of the curse.
Mm.
That's the abridged version of it. But it's if I'm gonna describe it, I describe it as a sitcom. Yeah. So it's a sitcom. So basically it's a sitcom, it's a comedy. So it's not a show that has like a linear, like this is our goal of the story and we're gonna get to this. I guess
Right.
technically it is he wants to get rid of his
But he's not
curse.
like actively looking for it.
No,
It's just like, eventually I'll figure it out.
yeah. So so that's the
That's the synapse. All right, then. So that gives us, if you could, the early impressions of the show without going to spoilers just yet. And of course, then afterwards, your recommendation of who the show would be for.
so I'm a big Ramana fan. I
Mm.
love
What? No.
I love,
Couldn't tell.
love, and I feel like this is the one thing I will say. This remake just made me realize that I still love the show a lot. However, it's not so much of a negative. I do think that there was like it felt rushed. It was like a lot of pacing issues in my opinion. So I felt like sometimes they did it good, and sometimes they just felt like incohesive. It was just like kind of all over the place. So that was kind of like my biggest turnoff. So if it comes to like really recommending it or not recommending it, I think I will probably say no because I think, in my opinion, the original one is just far superior. And with that, I just think it's probably a good one for like anyone that doesn't know the show. So I guess
Oh,
it's
like
a good,
me.
yeah, it's a good introduction in it. But
Mhm.
I still believe the original one's superior. So if I'm to say like a real recommendation, I would say like those first 26 episodes of like the original one. I
Mhm.
say you watch those, and then you can probably watch the new one and see if you prefer like the newer one over the old one. But I guess I'll get more into it when it goes into spoilers. But that is as far as if I recommend it or not.
Okay. So it's like a good introduction, maybe, and then, like you said, the real shows over here back in the '90s. I think it was the early '90s that came
I
out,
think it started like 89.
or maybe it was '89, right on the
Right.
cusp of the '90s.
Yeah.
Alrighty then, we'll pass the baton over to Frank. Frank, because you're brand new to Ranma, right, Frank? You've never seen it before.
Technically, I saw a few episodes.
I saw it back in the day.
Right.
So, what did you think early on, Frank? How much it stood out to you about the show?
It looks pretty.
That's good.
I thought I would like it less than what I ended up liking.
That's good, right? That's good.
Just the nudity worries me when the
Uh,
kids are around. So that's why I wasn't expecting there to be like much of a story.
mm,
And then when I saw a bit of story, I'm like, oh, okay, you know what?
You know what's funny? Like that was sorry to cut you off, but in my mind I also thought I don't think the show has much of a story, but I realized that it has more of a story than I
Yeah,
remembered.
and that's why I was like, well, that's why I was comparing it to Princess Time to Torture Princess,
oh,
because that I feel like that has no story.
that's true.
So and so I was wrong because it's not like that. There is a story. There is like a main themes that progress slowly,
But it's there.
Yeah, yeah, that's the early impression.
Okay, early impressions. Well, then let me ask you, Frank. Early on, or without getting to spoilers, if you will, would you recommend the show? And then, if you would, who would you recommend the show for?
No,
And why? Why would you not, Frank?
because of the nudity.
The nudity. Okay.
No.
Oh, all right. Well, then that's all right. So we got technically 2 no's, but all right, Miles, it's up to you to apparently save this show.
Save the show. That was
Save the show. But before you save it, you must
Yeah.
tell us what you thought early on about Ranma 1/2, because you have not seen the original.
I am used to her works.
Right. It feels like you have seen
And
this,
I
despite
can,
you
I
haven't.
can feel like where we're at. In terms, just me, just like was like it's a little more nuanced than say Yoratara, that was more like science fictional, more a lot of like alien like powers and things like that. Like it was more in there. While this is more kind of more grounded. It's more martial arts, of course. So I'm sorry how skating's a martial art. That's interesting. What we define what our martial.
They do say all or nothing, or would it say anything martial arts?
Anything goes.
Anything goes. That's what the phrase is.
Which I didn't realize until like, oh, so literally, like we
They're
could
not
do whatever,
joking.
and like, yeah, we're just gonna fight now. Oh, can we fight while we're doing skating? Okay, that makes logical sense. But you know, like, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, the chemistry between Ranma and Kane, because that's pretty much like this two tsunoris fighting each other to see which one will like. I'm not gonna lose, or you're gonna lose. Like they're both calling each other, but they're very care about each other at the end, but they won't admit it.
Kaguya fans rejoice.
Yeah, it's like this is like a prototype, I guess.
A little bit. I can see that now that you said that aloud.
Uh,
Kaguya-sama.
Oh yeah, huh? Well, and yeah, well, ramen is like a big influence a lot of that genre.
Also true.
Yeah. But the only thing with ramen is I feel like to me for most of the time I feel like with most like how does he turn to it? The premise of him turn to a girl happens because of water and things like that. Like why is he like, turn to a girl even just like while he's asleep or like just like
If it gets splashed with water, yes.
I get, but I guess it's funny because I feel like most of the show, at least to me, it's like it's more towards the girl version of Ramana than the male version of Ramana.
It's about a 60-40.
Maybe
maybe.
there's more of a push towards that.
It's a gotcha anime.
There you go.
So the only I do like, despite like I always like when shows take the advantage. Like here's the premise of the story. You gotta get. I started before the start of the episode. Like this is Ramana. This this is Akane. They fight against each other. So they bigger heads every time.
Saves us 30 seconds every
But
time the anime.
but I do like they randomly change the way they do it. Like it's now in a style like
Different art
a
styles.
Mecha show. We're now swinging around in the mountains. They deliver it that way. You get the story across, even though like it's your first time watching said episode.
Oh, a lot of those had like Romiko references. Like the mermaid one was
Oh yes.
was her mermaid series.
Yeah.
And then there was like the ninja one because there was a ninja character that was not canon in the old anime. So that was there was a reference to that. So it was like little Easter eggs, I guess.
Basically, that's the way I interpret it. Quickly, Miles, what would you recommend the show, and who would you recommend it for?
Well, I think like what Frank said earlier, it is an issue with the new because I think Ramen doesn't. I guess either he's too busy trying to move around or kind of doesn't pay attention to how he is in the girl form. That that there's he's used to get it's because he thinks he's a guy, but he's a girl though, right? Like the way like nudity wise, I guess per se.
Oh yeah, so he's a guy, but when he's a girl, he moves like
he still acts like a guy, I guess,
Yeah.
but he has a girl body, I guess per se. So that could be a little issue there, but I think for the most part, I think the way how they phrase it here is a little more subtle because I never seen their old one, but I'm seeing the old one just like a lot of old animes. There were a lot more freedom per se of like being accurate, or there was more freedom of expression per se. Now, well, this commercial about it's on Netflix, and we're trying to sell the kids, so I think it's more. Or it's more tame, I guess per se.
All right. Well, quickly, Miles. Yes or no? Would you recommend the show?
Yes, I would because I think it's funny enough.
The nudity's fantastic.
It's funny enough, and I do like the whole every single character they're all like connected and how they all react to each other, things like that. It's a good chemistry of all the characters.
That's what she's really good at, Romiko. She's really
despite
good at,
despite absurdity, nonsense, and all like but it's also a product of its time, So there's that, but. It's a very good cast of characters that all work each other and they swapping in, swapping out, and a lot. They all work and they all have their own story to each, connections to each other characters. It's a very kind of like Mason Cook, a very tight,
cast.
I guess.
Okay, well there you go. That's the review apparently for Miles.
I'm done.
All right, my early impressions about Ranma. So I have already seen the original Ranma back in the day. I really liked it. I have all the manga volumes of it. I really like it. Romiko Takashi, one of the greatest manga in my opinion, like most of her shows. So guess what? I really like this show. It was one of the things I was excited about hearing a remake of a classic that I remember, and the idea of like now the new generation is going to get a chance to enjoy this what I consider to be a classic. So I high expectations. Early on, Mappa delivered. Mappa is known for a lot of their animation quality stuffs, and they do deliver that when it comes to the action scenes. And that was a lot of things about the show Ranma. It is like an action comedy because there's the back and forth tsunderes of I like him, I don't like him, I do and I don't, this and that. But also while that's happening, here's like this martial arts shenanigans where they're fighting in like hockey rings, and they're fighting in it's like gymnastic fighting. So it's very silly and it's absurd. And to me, I love absurd humor a bit. So a lot. I mean, sarcastic there. And so that's I had me day one and early on, and you still have that in this version. So they keep that intact. The characters that Miles was talking about, I think it's a good dynamic. Even Ivan was also mentioning the fact the cast works pretty well. They play off each other, and they know where the punchline is. Her jokes land pretty well. There's always the straight man to comment like, wait, that's not how that works, or this or that. There's like ongoing running gags with like everywhere they go, there's just like this PA announcer guy that goes and announce himself every single time. Oh, yeah. I'm here, part of the PA club to now bring you into the live action. Like, who would do this? Like, what? But like, it's just absurd. It's silly. You got the dad who's just a panda walking around with silly signs with like quick like visual gag jokes and this and that. So it's just constantly silly, and other characters come into the scene who also may have went to a trip to China and have similar issues as you get. I talked about more in spoilers.
There's a whole dynamic right there in that one.
So yeah, so it's just keeps coming at you. Just when you get kind of comfortable and maybe I would potentially bored, she knows to come back with something fresh and interesting and just as absurd and silly after the last silly absurd thing you just saw. So I think early on it delivered all that, and slightly spoilers, they kind of delivered that more as the whole 12, 13 episodes that came out early on. So yeah, I was impressed with what I saw as a person who liked the original one. One thing I'll talk about in the spoilers, very minor thing, but I'll talk that in the spoilers. So yeah, shocker with the early impressions like that. I really would recommend this show. I know, who would have thunk? If you like any kind of comedy and romances, Kaguya-sama, that's the thing we pulled up. It's basically that show, and as Ivan already pointed out, it is the blueprint for that show and so many other comedy romances out there. And also, if you're just a bit of a shonen battle junkie or Dragon Ball Z fans, this and that, it is there. It's but it's more like Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball kind of action humor. So if you like those kind of series, you should really check out Ranma 1/2. Don't be scared. Oh, it's an old show, and I hate old anime.
I look at the color palette. How fits that show?
I'm back and forth on it a little bit, which maybe we'll talk about in a sec. But they're bold, and they wanted to distinct this version different from the original version, which I definitely appreciate, because to me, if you're gonna remake something, you have to make it stand on its own. Because then if we don't, what's the point of redoing it?
Yeah.
Kind of like we talked about the Trigun remake quotation marks. They changed it up, so that's good to see there. And so yes, that is our early impressions. So we're gonna talk about spoilers. Timestamps below if you want to go and skip it. And next we'll be talking about Acro Trip. So meet you there. But for those who sticking around, Ivan, let's go back to you. What's some spoiler talk you want to talk about, sir?
Well, the main thing, and because Frank said it, that the original one is really slow. I was watching like the old one, the new one on the manga, and I guess kind of not comparing in a way, but not really comparing. But I guess what I need to kind of back it up a little bit. The original anime was created by the people that also did Mason and Kaku. And
That makes sense.
And the people that did Mason and Kaku, one thing that really impressed me about these studios and during that time in anime, and actually Kaguya is a very good example too, where they get this like manga and they almost create like its own thing. And I think the original Ramna did that. And I think one way I kind of like to describe is phrasing, how you phrase things. So the old one, they got this series, and they almost applied the same melancholy vibes of Mason and Kaku to Ramna. So you get this really kind of slow melancholy between like this like kind of happy and sad, and I think it created like this. It's just very artsy. That's the way I would describe the original Ramna. And so when I was seeing the new one, as someone that knows the series, I was kind of disappointed in some of the phrasing of like the decisions of how they did certain things. And so there were scenes where I'm like, this is like an important scene, or how it was like, at least how I remembered it. And it felt like they rushed to it. So I kind of felt like they had an idea, like, we want to get this amount of chapters in. We want to get, this is our goal. We're going to like, this is what I'm going to do. And just to kind of put into context, where the new one ended was like around like episode 18, 19 in the original one. So that's like 6 full episodes of more. Some of it was filler.
Right.
In all fairness, it was filler, but it just gave more breathing rooms. However, with that said, there were some episodes I really enjoyed in the new one. Like one of my favorite episodes was the last one of the new one, the shampoo one.
Oh, right.
I love that episode. Like, and you know how when I was picking the shows, I was just kind of like the stock market. I'm like, I believe in this company. So my main thing,
Please buy the stock.
I knew they were going to get to the shampoo arc. I kind of just figured they were going to get to that point. And when shampoo gets there, like, like that episode, when she's like doing like the brainwashing and actually washing her hair, she literally brainwashed her hair. That's Ramla like at his peak.
Right.
Like where it gets like, they do more stupid things. Like every single time it gets dumber and dumber with some of like, but the characters don't think it's a parody. They
take it seriously.
They take it serious. But as Miles said, it's like the characters like the dad is a moron. Both dads are morons.
Pretty much.
Kazumi is like a low key really funny. Like when Shampoo showed up and she's like, oh, she's like panicking. She's like, oh, Rama's ex-girlfriend came back.
Oh,
and
right.
Like, it's like little things like that and
misunderstanding the situation.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of what I would describe it. I just think the phrasing, I still overall prefer it more in the old one, but the new one, good enough for me to still enjoy it.
Okay. Alrighty, Frank. Sir, do you have any spoiler things you want to talk about? Anything that maybe you didn't understand, or any questions you might have that you want to share here with our veteran Ranma fans here on the podcast?
Ooh, veterans.
I'm old.
I don't really have spoilers, just more like late impressions.
Okay, sure. What you thinking later on?
So first I thought I was not gonna like it, but it was
right.
Then there was more story with the blue hair girl.
Oh, kind of.
I kind of got turned off when the wolf guy came out from Inuyasha.
Oh, basically, yeah. She doubled. I forgot. Like, oh, right, yeah, right.
He's an ass, but that's his character.
It was okay. I mean, like I said, I thought it was pretty, and I liked the opening song. I thought it was kind of catchy.
Yeah, it was good.
But it wasn't making me laugh. The only thing that was holding it for me was I started liking it when she confessed that she liked the doctor, but the doctor likes the sisters. I'm
right,
like,
the other sister.
Ooh, drama.
There it is.
But
when he breaks his neck.
All right.
but then it dipped again in funny wise. But I did like it when the other girl came out.
No shampoo.
Yeah,
Shampoo?
I thought that was probably the best part of the show. So I'm like, oh, cool.
She's funny.
She made me laugh.
She crazy.
So
When she breaks through the walls.
yeah, I just want to say I liked her.
All right, man. Well, there you go. You like what you like, Frank. That's what we're here to talk about. What we like.
But that she like her shampoo is like that character that makes the story go forward.
Does she stop coming out after this?
No.
You have to watch again. Remember?
Oh.
No, remember I told you that like this is like where it ends there. That's where you kind of decide if you want to watch more or not. So
Yeah.
So I think if you're curious if she comes out,
There you go.
If she comes out, I'm in. If she stops coming out, I'm out.
She's out so much.
I'll just say that she's
It's a
in
bundle.
she's in the opening. So
There might be some hope for you, Frank. There might be some hope.
Well, there's certain shows where people come out and opening season 1 and season 2.
Not so much. Some openings are just lies, let me tell you.
yeah, no, but people really like shampoo, and I like her a lot too. She's stupid too. They're all dumb.
They're all dumb.
Yeah, they're all dumb in her.
We're all uniquely dumb, I guess.
when
That's
she-
the way to put it.
This is I guess like one of the bigger spoilers. When she started crying though, that was
Oh.
they did it good. And
Just that awkward of like, what's gonna happen? Or
Yeah, and then but see, Romiko's really good at that, like kind of doing like happy and then kind of
right, all of a sudden shit got real. What?
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
I guess I'll explain a little bit more of I still wouldn't recommend it,
Mm-hmm.
but I enjoyed it.
Okay. I'm always curious about that.
The way I see it is, if I can't find a single person in my life that I would tell them to watch it, then
Right.
that's a no. I like it, but
You
guys don't count.
Right. But I guess, this podcast goes out to other people out there who also probably are into anime and they're checking out anime podcasts. Do you think they would maybe like this show as well?
Well, there are a lot of people in.
I like how you both went, and like, oh, right, this goes out to the internet. That's what
No,
happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
That still doesn't count because like a lot of
They're not real people.
No, I'm trying to say is like a lot of people. I'm talking about my family. A lot of people in my family watch anime, and I'm pretty sure they wouldn't like it.
Okay. All right, Miles. Now it's your turn, sir. What's on your mind about this one?
So to me, the interesting is, I guess the pacing is a little fast. There are certain arcs like like one episode hit or 1 or 2 episodes, then like the skating one took like 3 episodes. So there's a little junction here and there. Overall, I do appreciate, like I mentioned earlier, about the characters. Like Ryoka being the pig, but only him and Ramna know. But everyone like they're kind of back and forth between each other, like they're rivals, but like they also like they have to work together to get out situations. I do appreciate it's just the fact that everyone has they interact with each other in unique different ways. All the characters, and everyone's kind of like absurd thing. I didn't realize till later on so when I say anything goes, so it could be skating, you could go, we could do bowling, we could do that, and then if it like Rama says, if it's martial in it, I must be pretty good at it, right?
I can do it.
That's how that works. And it says martial, I'm in. There are admits, no, I do like moments like when they actually show action, like with him doing like jumping around or trying to move around. It does keep like map. You see some of the Mapple muscle, I guess. I do like when they do emphasize like certain sounds, like they have big gen like they have like the Japanese text like in the background, like
the sound effects,
like ting 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 or things like that. I thought they did a pretty good job trying to convey, even more so in the English dub, trying to convey a lot of the characters' motives and actions, because sometimes everyone's acting like the characters are supposed to be, because sometimes some of the nuances get a little flat because it's not exactly him, but everyone's like everyone interacts a lot, very nuanced, I guess.
Yeah, they're like a family, right?
Yeah.
Like a family, like everyone's like kind of cuckoo in their own way.
Right.
Yeah.
But we all get along, and we're all stuck here with each other.
Like it's funny when Roga shows up, and then Kazuma says, "Oh, hi, Roga!" Like welcome in, you know. And they're like fighting.
All these people coming in now this dojo, and they're just all chill with it. Oh, it's all right.
Yeah.
Oh, Ranma's fighting on the roof again. Oh, Ranma.
Like when he shows up, like when he has a pig collar, and then he's like telling him like,
Charlotte.
That was a subtle joke. Like I wonder if he transforms, he's still wearing the collar.
Yeah, freaking Akane still doesn't get it. Stupid.
She's got a lot on her mind. Let's say.
Despite being kind of absurd, it is very also down to earth too, because you see moments that they both talk to each other like person to person. You know, we have moments like going like, oh, are we getting some romance here? Oh. But then back to no, screw you, and then we both like we fight off and we do it again.
Back to zero.
But you know, but like I haven't said, it's like a sitcom. You you can watch it, and don't worry about plot things like let's see how to get into shenanigans today. You know, and I think there's more coming out in the summer. I think.
No, they already guaranteed like a 48 episode thing.
Oh, did not know.
I'm super excited about, but I'm a little worried about because that's a lot of manga. So like, they probably have an idea of like what they're gonna. I'm sure they're gonna cut
the greatest hits. Yeah,
like the greatest hits. That so maybe it'll be a little slower pace because like they just wanted to kind of introduce the characters, you know.
Yeah, but other than that, I think the opening's good. I like the ending a little bit more. But I like more like simplification, like you see, I like more, I guess that was like more simple drawings, I guess. But I cannot wait to watch more of it, I guess.
Oh, that makes me happy though.
Well, that's good. That's a good thing. I love how like if you stop at the early impressions, it sounds like we don't like the show, but if you keep it's like, wait a minute, they all seem to like it. I'm very confused.
Well, I will say all the shows we see for this season so far weren't any really bad shows per se.
Any last thought there, Miles? Spoilers talk? Or are you good?
No, I'm good, brother. I guess when
it's my turn here. Let me tell you, kids. Let me tell you all the spoiler. Well, I mean, it's hard to spoiler a sitcom. The plot doesn't really matter. Yeah, to me, the best parts I think everyone's already hinted at the idea of like when stuff gets real and serious and they open up their feelings with each other and you just went about they're about to admit they like each other. Oh, here comes Panda Dad or the other goofball dad or Ryoga shows up and ruins it and here we go all over again. And so I do like that kind of stuff. But at a certain point, there has to be a line drawn in the sand for me. And that's where Ranma sometimes, especially the older version, even the anime in particular, it got a little tedious and boring after a while. So I think that's the good thing about this new adaptation, as we hinted on before. It is faster, and it is going to be slimming down the fat. So for
streamline.
To me, I think the easy comparison so far, and I need to go back and watch the original. I haven't seen it since back in the day, really. But to me, the easy comparison right now is to be like the original Dragon Ball Z run, and of course the Dragon Ball Z Kai run, or whatever they called it, where they stick to like the manga panels, right? And I feel like that's what they're doing in this new adaptation. They're really just taking what Romiko did back in the day in manga form and just slapping it on animation and calling it a day. And I think it works. It's, you do lose a little bit of that nuance that Ivan was hinting at there, but as I mentioned before, in this kind of day and age when there's so much things to do and I'm like behind trying to catch up, it's kind of nice where there is no filler arc anymore because I grew up with that shit and it wasn't great back then and it's only aged poorly as my free time's gotten less and less and less. So I do appreciate them appreciating my free time. So thank you, Studio Mappa, for, I guess, making those changes in this modern era. I think it makes more sense for a lot of people out there. The one thing I guess that very small negative thing I could talk about, or more of a missed opportunity than a negative thing, is often a lot of the jokes, in particular with the arc with the ice skating couple there, the male antagonist, he's just a little too problematic in 2025, let's say, in a modern day setting. And I thought either two things. Either they should add some more jokes to like make it not so troublesome, since he just kisses any girl around and like everyone knows he does that, which is super problematic once again. And I thought there should have been like, either we tone that down a little bit to make him like only cute, he only kisses like redheads or something like that. Or like, I thought another best opportunity to have like the Nader come in, like, remember this show was from the 80s, simpler times back then. I just want something to address and point out like, yeah, this is a bit of an out of date kind of joke and humor, which might offend people these days. I'm okay with it, but once again, if it's a new show, we should do new things for a new generation. I felt like there was a room for improvement there that they kind of just left as is.
I think like you mentioned before, brother, they're very what's on the manga page. That's what they did here.
Right.
There's no real, and unfortunately, that whole arc, I did not like the most because that guy's just
he's a little too much.
You know what's funny? That's actually one of like my favorite arcs in the original anime. And you know how you just mentioned about like adding a little bit more, so like in the original anime, and honestly it's not even that it makes a big difference, but they said like, oh, like this is you'll be like Maya in during the ice battle, they added a line that's like, Akane's gonna be like my 1,000 girl. I do this to.
I vaguely remember something like
And
that.
then Ramna, that's why he's more like, yeah, you're not gonna do that. So they add like they do add like these little lines that in a way they kind of made it worse.
Right.
But
There's some pushback to say, no, fuck you, that's wrong. You shouldn't do that.
So I think that's another of my complaints. This is the reason why. And there was actually some complaints because remember when he was fighting Ryoga, how at first Ramna was like, no, I don't want to fight you. I don't want to fight you. There's no reason to fight.
Right.
But then in the manga and the original one, he tells him, stop acting like a girl. And
Right.
And that's when Rama gets triggered.
Right.
Because obviously he's insecure.
Right, because he has.
And that's when he gets mad. But in this one, I think he says like, oh, well, there's nothing wrong with being a girl or something like that. So it took away the nuance of why Ramna was now pissed.
Right, that's true. So, people are a little bit more sensitive to that, and I'd argue they probably should be. But
that's
you
hard.
could also be too sensitive also of too many things also. It goes balance. All right here. So our next anime is brought to us by Miles. We have Acro Trip. I finally got that right.
Acro Trip.
I mean, I'm going to fix it. All right, I'm going to fix the YouTube. I made the joke on the YouTube. Leave me alone.
Acro, we get the gas.
Anthony. All right, Miles. So what is this show about?
So the pretty much gist is that there's a girl, Chizuko, who pretty much like the most of us during high school is just sad, depressed, and just what am I doing here with life? What's the meaning of life? She pretty much gets I guess she stumbles onto a fight between let's say evil
lieutenant,
I guess, right? I'm trying to because they're all
general, I think, or maybe he's the general. No, she's the general.
She's the general. He's the lieutenant. He's like the evil mastermind.
Mastermind, I think is his technical job name.
He's evil mastermind against a magical girl, and she falls in love with the magical girl, as like a idol. I guess idol is the best way to describe it.
Basically.
So, and she gets, Ham said, though, the evil mastermind is an idiot. He's kind of a doofus. He's evil, but like, he's kind of like, reminds me from Sandland, Beelzebub. Oh, yeah, we're going to change our socks from black to white.
That's funny.
That's how evil we're going. That's like, but he's supposed to be the evil master, but he doesn't really do anything really evil per se. But someone's like, he's pretty much semi recruits her to, to help him fight against the magical, and she really likes magical, but and through these fights, that's how I guess she sees her was Berry Blossom. I see her acting more lively when she's fighting. So she do whatever she can to make sure she gives a good fight, so that way she keeps her idol happy, I guess. And that's very much the gist of the show.
Alrighty, that's fair enough. So brother, what about early impressions? What were you liking or not liking about the show?
I do like, for being a new studio, it does have a very unique art style. Animation's pretty good for the most part. It is funny because at the end of the day, it's a lot kind of like we mentioned before when I previewed it. It's like kind of like Pokemon Team Rocket. Oh, here's these guys. Here we go. We're going to like we're taking all the milk to the city. We're trying to like stop them from getting like certain items, things like that. But he stumbles upon Chrome. Chrome, yes.
He's the mastermind.
Chrome's the mastermind. He's an idiot. So he tries like, I'm going to do this, but he doesn't really have a plan. Kind of fumbles his way through the plan. He has these little minions, Kumas, the bear, like bug kaijus, who pretty much all they just say bear. But they don't take him seriously because he kind of treats them kind of like crap. So him stumbling around trying to fight the magical girl, who's also kind of she's her own kind of klutzy too in her own way. But overall, like this, and mostly about Chizuko, or General Dante, as her name was
Virgil and Dante confirmed. We got them both.
Her just trying to make her Oshi, as they call it, happy, but at the same time, put up with this idiot because he has to live at her house, and like
for reasons.
And he's well known with her grandfather. And just, it's a lot of silly nonsense. Her had to put up with it because if you don't put up with it, and she doesn't, she doesn't have anything to live for. So like she becomes an evil because I'll sacrifice everything to make her happy, I guess, pretty much. And that's pretty much the gist of the show. I would recommend it because it's funny. It's funny, especially in the beginning. Her like you listen to the plot of what Chrome wants to do. He's like, this is so stupid. You have no like, this is the plan. This is what he came up with, and the wind bothers him. He runs out of magic. It's a lot of just silly shenanigans at the end of the day. And you're kind of curious to see what's coming up next with this group, because even though they're they're supposed to be arch enemies. They actually get along together very well. And it's a unique story, I guess. So that's my early impressions.
Early impressions, and it sounds like you would recommend it. Would you?
I recommend for people who like Pokemon Team Rocket or just silly shenanigans and just like even the main protagonist is kind of questioning why is she doing this at all. So yeah, it's a good show for kids.
All right, well, sounds like Miles hit it on the bullseye this season,
as I always do.
There you go. All right, let's see if Frank agrees with that. And what's your early impressions about Acro Trip there, Frank?
When I saw the title of the show, I'm like, I'm not gonna like this. That was my first real impression. And then they started, and I'm like, this is funny.
Okay,
it's funny.
Surprising Frank this season.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like they know how to deliver the jokes. I was bummed that it was not in English dub, but at the same time, like Chrome voice actors, I don't really pay attention to this stuff, but he's doing a good job.
He's selling it, all right.
Because he didn't even have to say any jokes. It was just say something like I would just giggle like, yeah, he nailed it.
He knows how to deliver the lines.
Yeah. So early impressions, I liked it. Made me laugh. Those 5 episodes felt like a breeze. That can't be early. That's like more than half the show, or is it? I don't know.
Well, I think 3. Like half would be 7 because it's 12 episodes.
No, something. Oh, yeah.
So yeah, 7 would be the halfway point, I guess.
We gotta go back to school and do math.
Oh no! If I wanted to do
and yes, I would recommend it.
You would recommend it. We found it. And I guess mostly because of the humor, Frank. That's what you liked about it. And you think other people who they're looking for the laughs.
I think. Whoever most people that I would recommend it to, they will have the same impression of me. Like, well, I don't think I'm gonna like this. Just give it a chance, and as long as you're willing to read.
That is
or you're Japanese.
Well, that helps. If you speak fluent Japanese, then have I got a show for you?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, then there you go. Nice, concise, good recommendation. All right. No holding back. What about Ivan now? It's Ivan's turn to share his thoughts about this title for the season.
So my thoughts, I'm not sure how I feel about it, but like not in a negative way.
Okay.
I think that I caught myself smiling.
Okay.
I think that's my impressions. Like I just caught myself smiling.
Okay.
Like there was I'm kind of going back to the Ranma thing because this one was a slow pace, where everything is like kind of taking its time. After a while, there's like jokes that like you shouldn't be funny, but at some point it just gets like stupid.
Right, it's so dumb.
Yeah, so like the one that kind of is in my head was like key. When they do that, like went over or like it's just something like that. And then so I went by episode 9 that you already kind of like heard it a couple of times. You're like, oh, here it is, and I'm smiling about it. So I guess that's my impressions.
Okay, so also good giggles. Well, that's good. Good. Sounds like so far consistent. It was funny, which is a good thing for a comedy show.
It is my pick. So I mean,
there you go. Well, you do have a track record there, brother. So Ivan, would you recommend this show for other people out there? And if so, who else? What else why would you recommend the show for that or to others?
So we kind of talked about this about the recommending. I probably still wouldn't. And I think I kind of go back to what we've been saying, like usually when I think about recommendations, I think of as a general.
Mm-hmm. And to me, the average Joe worker, how's it going? I've never seen an ad. Oh, I seen Attack on Titan.
Is that
I don't know why I'm from the South.
Is that Japanese animation?
So I think this is more like you're recommending this show more as like someone that like an anime fan.
I see.
Yeah. So if I'm thinking like as a general audience, I wouldn't recommend it.
I see.
If I like, let's say. Miles, then I would recommend it to him. So I think that's kind of what we've been talking about. Like
that's the difference.
That's the difference. So if I'm thinking as a general recommendation, I still probably wouldn't.
I see. I guess that would be because I'm assuming if you want an anime recommendation, you like anime, so I'm recommending it to an anime fan. I'm not thinking of like my mom or dad or someone who is an anime fan because like they don't like it. They're not going to start now, right? In my opinion, but that's I'm glad to see that you guys are representing that part.
But I guess like. I would probably pick other shows first. Like, let's say, like, this kind of style, like, and this is the first one that kind of came to my mind, like Kaguya, so I would recommend that one before this one.
Okay, so it's a light recommendation.
Probably, yeah.
You gotta count your calories, count your points, count your animes. It makes sense. Alrighty then. I guess that leaves me my early impressions of Acro Trip. It is funny. I thought it was very funny. I already kind of gave my early impressions on my YouTube channel. If you're curious, go check it out. But yeah, I thought it was funny. I thought the shenanigans, the silliness of the fact like nothing's explained. It's just she's kind of like melancholy, kind of going through like like a bit of a lull. Like I guess like a junior high school crisis here. And she finds just Stanley walking, visiting her grandpa, and there's a magical girl and an evil organization, which is not normal. It's only in this small remote town in Japan. For some reason they're duking out over here, and it's never explained in those early chapters of why it is. It just is, and everyone in the city has just come to accept it. And so she like falls in love with this idea of like, finally, in a weird way, I feel a bit of weird and awkward, and finally in this weird awkward town, I kind of fit in with all these other weirdos and awkward people. And she gets pulled into the action, the drama that we find in the show, which leads to a lot of comedy. So I thought that was, as I said, I like absurd comedy. It's pretty absurd early on, so I thought it was funny. I did think the art design, the character designs is interesting because they have a little bit unorthodox way they draw the eyeballs, the irises. They're very like sharp, like like almost like the way they would draw hair, but they draw inside the eyes, and like they use multiple colors. Like her color scheme is like, isn't it like green, yellow, and purple?
Yeah.
They're very unique color schemes that I don't see too often in anime.
Yeah.
So even just the use of colors kind of promotes this idea of absurdity and weirdness, and stands out from every other anime that comes out. Because let me tell you, as a person who consumes a lot of anime, after a while, certain shows start to look the same because it's the same people working on the same studio, so it's bound to happen. But this show definitely had an identity and a personality off the get-go. So once again, I do think that helps it stand out and makes even the humor more funny because they have these weird expressions and faces that we don't see all that often. Trying to think anything else early on without getting to spoilers. No, I think that's about it. It's funny. So recommendation without getting to spoilers. I'm on the fence on this one. I'm probably more of if I had to say yes or no, black and white, I'd probably say no. But the deep answer, the bigger conversation would be it's a light recommendation. And it deals with the later half of the show, which I'll talk about in the spoilers of what I'm conflicted about recommending. So yes, that's the black and white answer for me, if you're curious. All right, and that will end there. If you want to timestamp down below, we'll jump ahead to we got mechanical arms. So we'll meet you there if you want to save the spoilers for Acro. I was gonna say Acrobat. I was gonna say everything, but
Acro Trip, Acrobat.
I don't know.
What are you doing, Ray?
I don't know. I'm tired. It's been a long day for me. So let's get into spoilers. And Miles, since this was your baby, what do you want to share about this show that's on your mind that only us experienced anime viewers know about?
Well, and that's the thing. I think we went a little back to recommend. The problem is that for you to really appreciate anime, you got to watch anime. You have to watch. You have to watch enough, like at least magical anime to understand. Oh, okay, this is a parody. You know what I mean?
I agree with that.
I can see that.
Because that doesn't issue a lot of jokes in like because you already know the formula how it's supposed to go. But Chrome's pretty much he fumbles around, doesn't really have a plan. He kind of like comes with an idea and he kind of fumbles trying to execute it. And and mostly usually Chisako is always trying to like, okay, let's try to. I gotta get this thing going because this guy pretty much is an idiot. So let me try to make this plan work so that it's foolproof for him. It makes my idol happy, and then I can enjoy because I've seen her smile again. She's reluctantly trying to join the organization not because of wanting to be evil, but because she wanted to help her Oshi be better, I guess, or try to livelihood, things like that.
Love makes you do silly things, let's say.
And she really likes her kids, like really like.
Hardcore fan, at least.
But I think in the end of the day, the issue is like, I think you probably alluded to a little bit later on, but the problem is halfway through I forgot like half the funny part for a hot minute there. Like kind of we tried throwing lore, and I feel like the more lore we drop in of why Acro Trip, how Acro Trip, like okay, no, that's I think we're getting we're losing more of the jokey part. Now we're getting like, wait, we're taking this seriously? We're supposed to explain this? Like, we don't need explanation. We established already. We don't need explanation. She doesn't explain about. She has to watch this fight, and now she's enjoying the fight, and now there's no need for explanation. But I explained this whole plot, which we kind of got a resolution. Not really, technically. And I felt like we're adding more, making it more. We're adding more dots to the show. It's supposed to be just like it's supposed to be silly fun time.
It's funny. I was kind of thinking something similar.
It's not like. It has a hard time trying to distinguish from trying to be funny and then trying to do serious,
And it just can't bounce
And
it.
you can't bounce back from that, because I feel like when we got to that part, especially like in the middle-ish of this middle of the I guess middle of the show.
Was it the Chrome episode with the Mashiburu?
Yeah, Mashiro, yeah.
What's his name?
Mashiro?
Mashiro, yeah. When they try to explain like the whole concept and how does that work out? It's like, wait, huh? And it makes you cause to think more, but like, you know, it doesn't explain enough to make sense, and also like it kind of throws off, because like if you're gonna do that, you gotta do that at the end or something, you know, not midway through, because after like those 2 episodes, then we go back to that silly Chrome trying to do something nonsense, and we move on. You know, it got better after that, but it kind of made the show feel flat in that middle part.
It's the weak spot.
So, you know, that's like, oh, okay. But, you know, if you pass that part, you know, and you heard like, you know, getting all clothes and try to deal with situations like, oh, it's raining, I don't want to go outside, it's raining outside, I don't want to
it's too cold to go.
I gotta stay on my shirt, you know, I don't want to look like a fool if I'm staying on my shirt, I gotta go get it washed. And like, what? Like,
oh, right.
But, you know, I still say at the end of the day, the show is funny to kind of like to like push that little bump out, like smooth the bump a little bit.
We could fix it. We can salvage this.
But, you know, it is a detriment, I guess.
Okay.
I actually didn't mind when it was getting serious. Because I love like the hot and cold, like the between like happy, sad. You know, I think what kind of Miles is saying is like it just felt like the payoff, or like the very last episode where you kind of felt like it was gonna do something. It just felt like it didn't do anything with it.
Right.
So it almost felt like unnecessary.
Right.
Or like just not how to kind of balance it between like the wacky, because actually when it was getting a little like more in the sad or the serious, that's when I was like really like I'm feel like I'm really starting to enjoy this. But then like the last episode, it's just like
just playing.
That's basically what it was, right?
Kind of like, basically, yeah.
It was like we're like no. So I felt like confused. Like I'm like, so when the show does, I mean, Kaguya is one of the ones, a good example where it kind of does like that, like the back and forth between like the happy, the sad, and all that. And so when shows do that, even if it's like a sitcom type, like even if there's like that one episode that kind of stands out that is sad, I feel like that's what kind of adds more fullness to like the show. But I just think this one didn't do that great of a job when it came to that.
The balancing act.
The balancing, yeah. It just wasn't. It just and I think that's probably my biggest complaint with it. That it almost feels like a missed opportunity. That's the way I took him. Like, oh, if only they would have, you know, like done some. I think at that point when it was getting a little bit more serious, I think you probably needed to have like a real villain, like or something like a real kind of antagonist, and then something to kind of like make the characters, you know, either like have to all unite. I don't know, it's just something.
Right.
I'm like, okay, like I don't know if you felt the same.
No, I definitely did.
Yeah.
I felt that as well.
But I didn't hate it, but it just definitely felt like
I despise it a little bit more. It would be my guess, but I'll wait till I get my official turn at it. All right, Frank, how about you, sir? What any spoilers about Acro Trip that you want to share with us?
I guess some of the later jokes.
Sure, if you want, Frank. It's your time. You do whatever you want to talk about.
Okay. I've been kind of busy, so I didn't finish it. I know.
And you still recommend it? Oh.
Yes. Because so I was trying to finish Mecha-Ude.
Mechanical.
Oh, okay. It's coming up.
And I finished it. And I'm like, okay, cool. Start watching Acro Trip, and then I'm like, I was thinking about this, like, am I still gonna like it? It's been a long time. I don't know.
Oh,
like, was it just a phase?
Am I really in love, or is it just a fling?
I know.
Yeah,
I
was saying last week.
I was genuinely worried. I'm like, what if I'm not gonna enjoy this no more? I enjoyed it. I'm like, okay, you still got it.
It's fine.
So
how far did you get into it?
It was in the fluke episode 9.
Oh, okay.
It was in the fluke. So I do like it.
Yes, you do. Okay.
Yeah, because sometimes, you know, you're watching something and you're into it, and then you watch it again. I'm like, why was I watching this?
That's true. I've had this.
What was the episode you ended up in?
This was the one where he tells him that he needs to wake up early.
Oh, that was funny. That made me laugh when they needed to wake up early, and then
right, like 4 in the morning early.
They couldn't meet. Oh, we can't fight today at this time, so this is the only available time to come.
Stupid.
That was that.
And they just have to drag them away from each other and pretend we didn't see each other.
Yeah,
that is fine. I forgot that was one of the better later jokes.
So I was like, you know what, you
got it.
You are on the team.
Get your ass over here.
So yeah, it's just I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's just I like it. It's still funny.
Okay.
Even after all this time.
How did you feel about did you feel like the show got serious?
I just because I think I mentioned it the first time I talked about the show where I was just enjoying it and it's just like all nonsense and nothing explained and suddenly like, oh, backstory. Like now we know why this is this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
how'd you feel about that?
I was just like, oh, since I was enjoying the show and enjoying characters, I'm like, okay, I don't mind learning about you.
Let's see what goes.
The more I know.
I did like the Chrome episode though, or like the backstory one.
About both of them?
Yeah.
Okay. Trying to remember now. It's been a minute because that was the other awkward thing for me is I saw like the first 3 episodes like way back then. It's like, oh, I had to pick it up like in the last week or two. So I was like, what happens in the show?
I'm curious because I didn't finish it, so I don't know how I feel about it.
That last episode's a doozy, I'll tell you that.
But the way you guys are talking about it, it doesn't feel like it would turn me away. It seems Acro Trip to me. It's just like you're expecting something and then suddenly like I don't have MP. Like,
I could see what you mean, and I kind of think that's what they're going for, but it just didn't land that way for me. But I could see what you mean now that you said it out loud. But I'd have to think about it a little bit more, maybe.
Well, I'll have to see.
Yeah, like when you say it aloud, in a way, the way they was just leading towards.
There was too many. I think there was too many episodes of build up for it, and nothing happened. If it was like one episode and then, haha, we got you, I think it would have worked for me. But because there was like, I feel like there's like at least 4 episodes of like serious plot lines slowly building up, and then it was the big payoff, and never mind.
That's kind of the reason why I ultimately go to not recommend, because it just felt, it was like drawing me in. I'm like, and I think it's also kind of like a personal preference as to like I love, that going in between like the happy and sad. But it just felt flat, and it didn't make me hate the show, but it almost felt like pointless. Like it almost felt like the show was pointless. It made it seem like, oh, you came all the way here and there was no point.
They got hey, the spas out there are very nice. I'll let you know.
So I think some of the themes, how you guys were saying it earlier about like the self-acceptance, like the way you kind of pictured it, I do feel that they could have like add a better way of making those messages more clear to. I've told you sometimes this before. Sometimes you need to dumb it down to the audience. So like if you think about it, and when you say it aloud, when you said, oh, they, she didn't know what to do with her life, didn't know all that, but they don't really.
There's not enough,
to kind of like make it clear where you say, oh, like this is like where she belongs, or this is, because it was more like you're. In the end, you're just kind of in a spa day, and then it just kind of cuts back to their. Like,
mom's
fighting.
calling. Oh, hey, mom, I haven't seen you since episode 1. Okay, bye.
And
that's the show. Bye.
Yeah. So, is there more? Or that's it.
As far as I know, no. But I guess I haven't looked up. My guess would be no, but I could be wrong. You never know. It is a fairly new studio. I know that.
I think it's like one of those like open-ended, like we could, but
yeah, I think they left that intention. If it does well, which I think it did okay. I don't remember the public score out there.
All I know is that if it doesn't, we know why.
It's like I said, I could see an argument for either way, I guess, which is probably a good thing. I feel like overall, if I have to pick or choose. All right, I guess any final thoughts we haven't really talked about that I want to share about. I guess as we already talked about, like I said, the first half where it was a lot more comedy focused and we didn't explain anything, I liked a lot. In the second half, where we're slowly introducing backstories and how they used to work for this, Apple, tech company of the future that just so happens they are evil. They have an evil organization, but like no one knows about it. I thought that was like, it was like kind of like funny and not funny at the same time because it's so cliche, but it just so happens to be true despite like there's no evidence to support that theory, but apparently it is true. So I don't know. It was like back and forth. Like, I don't know if this is funny or not. It's like a crooked smirk maybe or something. And then the fact of like, I think the biggest problem is it got serious and made me think too much. There was too much to explain of like, oh, this is why he's a little mascot animal and not just because because Luna exists and Sailor Moon and QB exist. And it's just like, but no one really cares.
Because at that point, I'm like, is he going to go back to normal?
Yeah, right.
I'm like, something irrelevant, but like, I know this is one thing that we'll bring up with Ranma because technically he's a man.
Right.
And then he's like as you said, at first I thought he was just like
like a
Luna.
mascot, genderless creature.
But no, he's literally
He's just a dude.
He's a dude that got turned into a cat, and
I
then,
didn't think about that.
yeah,
But they don't. But unlike with Ranma, there's no sleeping with Berry Blossom, even as a teddy bear equivalent or whatever you want to phrase it as. At least I don't remember. Was there such a scene?
No, they don't. But he is a guy,
Right, he is a guy.
Yeah.
And yes, I guess if you think about like that, yeah, I guess it's one of those.
Well, it's
the more you think about it, it makes you go,
Well, it's like over explanation. It's like that's a little. We're getting too into baseball here. I know like this is the good guy and this is the bad guy. We don't need to know why. Why is the bad guy? There's no.
And there's never explanation, and like it makes you start asking questions, and then once you start asking questions, the answer weren't very satisfying, and then also you were hinting at Ivan is like, what was even the point then if we're not even going to like do it seriously or even? I like when absurd comedy is absurd and there's no explanation because that's a lot of the humor. There's no explanation. It's just we thought it was funny and we just did it that way. It's almost kind of like Fully Cool or something like, well, just all this shit just happens. You're kind of like, and why? I don't know. Fuck, why not? That's their answer back, right? But here it's like, no, I have an answer for you. I'm like, shut up. No one wants to hear your answers, nerd. So that was the problem. It felt like towards the later half is I just got less interested into it, and then there was no really payoff if you all of a sudden cared about the plot of this universe and these characters. It didn't really matter. So yeah, and then speaking about really pointless things to bring up and didn't really add any humor was, this is my dad. What? This is my dad? Yeah, this is your dad. He's your teacher. You didn't know? Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah.
It just was kind of awkward and weird, and it felt like another opportunity to maybe like talk about, because as you already hinted at Ivan before, and I hinted at, is the fact of like in the beginning she's lost and looking for herself in this world and this and that, and finding her father. You think that's a major plot point. We could build on something like that. Nah, it's barely a joke, if even that.
Yeah.
So it's like there's another lost opportunity. It feels like to do either something serious or just even funnier with it. He's barely in the show. Daryl Grappa's in the show more, and it's like,
was he like a villain too, the grandpa? They kind of alluded to it, no?
I don't know. He's just, I don't know. He's indifferent, I guess. He's like, oh, you want to live in my house? Come live in my house, I guess.
I don't know if you noticed, but like
it's a bit of an accomplice, I guess.
Yeah, in the last episode, when they were giving a script, he was like all buff.
Oh, I kind of remember that.
Yeah, it was like, what the?
Master Roshi, yeah.
Well,
training.
Well, they went to the Go Club. We went to all the little bears.
Oh yeah, they didn't have like a training montage.
Yeah, like all the little bears.
It was all like a Rocky or Karate Kid, something going on back there.
There was a line I did like a lot though from the show. Remember when the bears started talking? They're like, oh, we're gonna dub it now for
for you people that don't understand bear or whatever.
Yeah. So this was probably my favorite line from the whole show, where he says, we don't like the way he treats us after he started saying this mastermind thing.
Right.
And then he says, but after he started hanging out with Dante, he started acting more like himself. That was probably my favorite line of the whole show.
Yeah, I agree. All these serious tones, that was like the one serious tone I liked.
Yeah.
And we never, how does he summon bears? It's like the few questions that I actually am curious about, they don't even answer those. But the ones you don't care about, like how he became a mascot character, I don't give a fuck. Yeah. So it's just a little lost focus for me, and that's why I'm hesitant to recommend the show for everyone out there. But I think it's an okay comedy show and does enough. And it's an early studio, so hopefully they get a chance to do something like this or better in the future.
The ending.
It's a catchy little song. It's probably the one I prefer more if I have to check the opening or ending. All right, so that's it for that show. So now we'll talk about our third and final anime for our review today. And this is the show I picked back in the fall season of 2024. This is Mechanical Arms, or Mecha-Ude. Oh, not udon. That's food. And so in this series, we have our main, most average battle shonen protagonist of ever time, a middle schooler named Hikaru. I think that's his name.
Deku.
There you go. Yeah. And he is another teenager going through the motions and just kind of, keeping his head down, doing his job, but really kind of also a little bit unmotivated, just like our previous protagonist. But then one day he hears a voice in the distance, and he goes to answer the call of this help and plea persistence, and he goes and finds this magical cube, and apparently this magical cube turns into a robot that attaches itself to his sweater and is basically a mechanical arm, thus the name of the show. Got him. And it turns out that this mechanical arms he finds is basically like an alien being from another world. It turns out the government running in this futuristic city he lives in, so it's a bit of a sci-fi setting. It turns out he's like the master key to unlocking all the secrets of the universe, and they want to do everything to get their hands back on this little mechanical arm. And of course, he doesn't want to go back. And our little teenager Hikaru decides, all right, I'll fight for the good cause and go stop this another evil organization again. And he joins up with the underground arms group who fight against the evil Kagami Corporation. I think that's what they're called.
The comic group.
And yeah, that is the setup and synopsis of the show, where it's the good old fashioned, light versus dark, good and bad, and the way how these mechanical arms to be used. I guess another quick note. So the other thing is these things are sentient, if I haven't mentioned that. But of course, in the evil organization, they don't see them as sentient beings, another life form. They're just they're tools, they're weapons. So shut up and do what you're told. And so it's just like very oppressive slave and master relationship complex that happens throughout the whole series.
Season 2.
Basically, that's what it comes down to. And yeah, so that's what the show is about. As my phone tries to turn itself on. And so yes, so early impressions about this show. I did like what I saw early on. It was one of the few shows from my video where I gave it the double down recommendation for the season. So very much liked it. What I liked about it was the premise. It is not the most original idea, for sure, but it is a lot of the tropes, the mechanics that you see all the time in Battle Shonen, in particular, very old school Battle Shonen, which I grew up on. So I definitely have a nostalgia for that kind of storytelling and these plots and setups and characters. And you get that, because you have the arms group who, you have the red hair who has the twin blades on her legs that shows up, very Busho Rinkin, and other people you slowly kind of meet as the show progresses. And then, of course, you have the evil organization, and they have very distinct designs and personalities. And so everyone stands out. They all have a very Studio Trigger vibe to them. They're very distinct looking, and you're not going to be confused. Like, which one's this guy? You'll be like, oh, it's the vampire guy. Oh, it's the Sniper Wolf character. Everyone really stands out with their character designs, and they're very over the top, I guess. And so that's another reason why I liked it, because it definitely stood out early on just with its character designs. And the action is also very well done. It is also a new studio. I think it was interesting. I didn't know this at the time, but apparently this started off as a Kickstarter anime, as a one episode thing. A few years ago, it got approved. They did it. And I guess it did so well enough that here we are a couple years later, and now we have a 12 episode, 13 episode series of Here Now. And it kind of fleshes out that story it kind of promised on that episode 1, which I haven't seen, but I am curious to go back to it. But yeah, I thought it was neat that the fact of, this unknown, it's underdog story, and it fitting because it also works for the story about this Hikaru character who becomes, kind of a hero, but also just the story of this anime process go hand in hand of we're a bunch of unknowns, and we really just have this passion and dream of making this little anime, and by luck and will, here we are talking about it on the internet. So I think that's a very cool and fitting thing to talk about. And I love, people showing out their passion. And you feel that, at least I felt it while watching the show, is the people really cared about this story. And yeah, maybe it has some little flaws here and there. And it's like I said, it's not the most original idea, but someone really cared about this show and they wanted to make it the best product they could for other people to appreciate and enjoy. And I felt that way. And so yeah, that's why I liked it early on. So with talking about, without getting into spoilers, would I recommend the show or not? Who would I recommend it for? Yes, I would recommend this show. As I already teased before, if you like your traditional 90s, 2000s, battle shonen, like your Digimons, your little kind of Pokemon, even Mega Man Battle Network or XE, what it was called. It definitely has a lot of vibes of that. You also got a little bit of like Studio Trigger, as I mentioned before. So if you like Kill la Kill or Gurren Lagann, you have very intense action and a lot of motion sometimes when it comes to the big climax and people are duking out, everyone's screaming and get excited and really, you could get sucked into the scene. And I found myself getting sucked in. And so for those reasons, without getting into too many details, that's why I would recommend checking out Mechanical Arms. It's a bit of a hidden gem that I think it is worth the trip. All right, so let's pass the baton over to, let's do Ivan. Ivan, what do you think, sir, about Mechanical Arms? How did you feel about it early on?
There were some things I liked about it. I guess this is my overall opinion. Hopefully it kind of makes sense to you. It felt like 48 episodes and 12.
Also true.
That's what I genuinely feel about it. It felt like it was very ambitious, but I wish like they would have brought down the ambition.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the thing was, it would have been better almost to try to do better and then get a second season? Like, and that's kind of like my question for it. Would it would have been a better choice? Like, no, we're gonna stick to like, let's just stick to like the fundamentals. We're gonna do, let's do this arc of the story from here to here, and it does so well that then we get approved for a second season. So that's like my, I guess, like my overall impressions of the show. And then whether I would recommend it or not, I guess because of that, I almost like what I've been saying to a lot of the shows. Like, I feel like I can think of another show before I would think of this one. So I think that's why I probably still wouldn't recommend it.
Okay. And then let's go over to Frank. Frank, sir, what do you think about Mechanical Arms? Anything that got you excited or maybe not excited early on?
Yeah, the opening got me excited.
It is a good opening.
Yeah, that's some 90s opening right there, isn't it?
This is one of the ones that I was gonna watch regardless because I've been trying to watch more anime. Something about it caught my eye. I don't know if it's the animation or what. So it started off good. I had good early impressions. High hopes.
That's it. All right.
That's it.
All right.
Would I
high
recommend
hopes.
it? I would say I would recommend it to like kids.
Okay. That's true.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
To me, it's a very kid-friendly show. Just like something I grew up back in the day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
I
that's
used to be a young
I
lad.
agree with that, really.
Well, all right. Well, then that was quick and simple. Editor Ray, thanks you for that, Frank. All right, Miles, you have your time. If you want to take more time, Miles, you share what you felt about Mechanical Arms with us.
This show is awesome.
All right. Well, that's good news. All right. Feeling good.
To me, the fact that
Is that sarcastic or you?
No, but
Sarcasm is my thing.
yeah,
Okay.
to me, like what Ray said, like it's not like Battle Network, it's a lot of Digimon. Like here's these little guys that actually are sentient beings. They fuse with people and they do they do cool things, and
The heart of the cards, baby.
and just the fact that it's like he's unique because Alma Prima is pretty much stuck to his hoodie, really, not really to him. Like most of the other they de-res into people themselves and they become part of the person. But since in his hoodie he doesn't have that issue or things like that, so it just makes because like he's just a hoodie. You can take the hoodie off and
He just crawls on the floor.
put it back in, and then you're ready to go. The opening's a banger. Like some 2000 like the 2000
Just got lost, and here it is.
You're like, wow, where did this come out for?
Blow off the wheel, and there it is.
Wait,
on film.
2025? What the hell? Or I guess 2024. But just like wow, I didn't know we could go back to the good old days. The good old days,
They're here.
And I think the fact that from the get go it's a kid show, and the fact that we're not trying to get philosophical. We're not trying to add any like romance or anything else. Like there's kids trying to survive, trying to help their buddies. The Mechanical Arms trying to get back home, or trying to survive being oppressed by by the bad people. And that's simple to me. And that the fact that it's very simple makes it unique, makes it wonderful because it's not. At the end of the day, that's what it is. It's not trying to do anything more or anything less than that.
It is consistent.
But it also is a very good way of presenting this said show, and the fact it does a lot more. Like it reminds me like a lot of Trigger, like Ray said. A lot of it's very the way how they moves around, the way how they animate things. It's unique for and I'm knowing what Ray said about like being like a Kickstarter studio and things like that. But it does capture a lot of old school magic.
Well, there you go. So I guess with that, I recommend. I would imagine,
just like everyone said in the room, I think it is a good show for kids.
Mm-hmm.
Even for old people who love the 90s.
If you're old like me,
you're like, yeah, let's do this. Yeah,
gotta wake up in my Saturday morning cartoons. Gotta hurry.
I know. I listened to open for a while now. So that and the ending's not bad either.
The ending's the one that's in my head a little bit more, but they're both pretty good. Alrighty, well there you go. There's our spoiler-free opinions about Mechanical Arms. But now it is time for spoilers. We got times down below in case you just jumping around. Let you jump around. We got outro. We got to tease you what's coming up next. So we'll meet you there. But for right now, let's talk about spoilers of Mechanical Arms, and I'll get us started off. So here's the things. I feel like I really like this show. It's very nostalgic for me, and it's Miles rated. It's pretty basic. It's kind of black and white, and it's been a while since I've seen the show, and it really is designed for kids in mind. So maybe it's just the right, perfect timing and this and that, and it just really clicked for me. Having said all that, boy, does this show have a lot of problems, really, honestly, when you think about it. The biggest problem for me, especially as a narrative focused person, is man, oh man, there are some times where they would just turn to the next episode and be like, what's happening? And what's going on? And it's just an exposition dump of like, here's the man with the mask telling you this is what's going on now, Hikaru, and this is going on. And you're just kind of like, whoa, okay, well, that's a lot of information. Like, he's just dumping information on you. And then other things, like certain things in like certain fight sequences, they'll be duking it out and this and that, and then they'll cut next to it and I'm like, oh, I guess Hikaru lost? What's happening now? So there's a lot of like quick things they do for both story and focus and to keep the pace and keep the action happening. And so if you're a person like Ivan, which I keep hitting this mic, when kind of like Ivan suggested, if you want a little bit more slow pace and really feeling the scene and the characters, there's kind of no time for that in this show, and it kind of hurts it a little bit. I'm okay with it because in my brain, like, this is a kid show, and a kid show needs to be quick and simple, right? There's not too much to think about it. So I'm a little bit more forgiving about it, but I definitely could see it, and it is objectively a problem, if you ask me. And then the other thing is the animation early on, they really swung for the fences, and I think it landed a lot. But kind of in the middle part, some of the animation, as I meant, they do little shortcuts. So like the fight would just be over, or they would like jump to pretty much the climax of the fight. They do little shortcuts that, you know, the consistency animation-wise wasn't there. So it was it was noticeable. But at the end, they put back the money and they knew to sell the big climax fight. So I was happy about that. And, you know, once again, as an old school person growing up watching like Naruto or Dragon Ball Z, you could always see this is the banger episode, right? Because they put all the money into the animation. You're like, whoa. So it did have that moment, which I haven't seen in a while, which is, you know, maybe good or bad. It just depends if you grew up with that or not. The other thing is just the pacing, as I already hinted at, it's just too fast. It is dying to be at least a 26 episode series, and there's just no time for it. And as Ivan already pointed out, instead of taking the gamble and really like telling half the story and then expanding on to season 2, they said, we're not sure we're going to get season 2. So we're going to put all this out right now, and maybe down the line, maybe we'll expand it. And even that's the cool thing, and that this is a spoiler, is they kind of almost tease a potential second season with like it's almost like the storyboard. They showed us the storyboard. It's like, oh, here's season 2. So it does feel like in another way, they're like trying, hey, Kickstarter guys, who's interested? Season 2, let's go. And I'm kind of like, oh, I might slip a few dollars their way. I did. It is very much, as I teased about it and talked about, it is definitely, you can feel this is an indie project with people who are very passionate, and you can see and feel what inspired them and got them to work in anime in one way or another. And you can see and feel those inspirations from all the shows we mentioned about. And so I like I said, it feels like it's been a long time since I've seen that kind of thing in an anime production. Because a lot of times it's all like standard and industry and very cold and calculating of, oh, you got to put in the cool action scene and this and the blood, and then put in the girl with the big boobs and do this and go to the beach.
Time.
It becomes very formulaic and gets kind of stale after a while, especially if you consume a bunch of animes like I tend to. So it was nice to see someone really, really swinging for the fences, and despite they had no confidence and no thought that they were going to ever get another chance to be in the spotlight, and they took it, and I really appreciate that, as I already teased and talked about, because I just don't feel that anymore as I used to. And maybe that's just me, because I'm just old and cynical, and so maybe I didn't see it. But a little bit of my childhood wonder came back to me watching this show, and so, you know, for those reasons, that's why I really like this show, and I would recommend people to check it out, especially if you an old 90s, 2000 junkie like me, and you want to, you know, Heart of the Cards and Power of Friendship, and this that. It's a little corny and cheesy, but I feel like we're going to need a little bit of that optimism coming 2025. So I'm gonna hold on to this a little bit longer, as long as I can. All right.
I guess I'll piggyback on
All right.
that. So yeah, I think there's a lot of things you mentioned. This is what I did appreciate about it, because you do see like the love and how much like they cared about it, and that was really nice. So you can definitely like pick up on that. And it's not so much that, because I think earlier you guys said something within the lines of like, there wasn't like a bad show, and and honestly, I never want to sound like a hard critic, because ultimately I'm not a critic, but I will say like kind of like my honest opinions, and I think the thing that, and I'm gonna go back to the last episode, the very last episode, and I was telling this a little bit to Frank, that the epilogue, that's when I did think it was a little funny, because they're showing what everyone's up to, what they've been up to. I'm like, I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are.
They're there. They have a very small part, but they're there.
But they're like they went out of their way to make sure that we knew what every character was up to now. And I'm like, I don't
remember you.
I don't know you. So that's when I did kind of laugh a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Because, for example, there was this one older man with longer hair showed up to fight, and then he was gone.
The samurai-looking guy. Or which one?
No, it was like some older man.
The older guy with the mustache?
I think
that
so.
worked for the evil company?
But he just showed up and then he was gone. And so it did make it very like, I at least in my opinion, I felt the first season should have been only about the sister.
Right.
And make that like the 12 episodes. Oh, also the power-ups. You went from like, he gets the power, and then like in 12 episodes later, he's like in his god mode.
Hey man, some people just have it, all right? He's the chosen one. He's the light. He's the light.
So it was like funny to me because like it was like once again he's like learning the power, right? Because when he fights that guy with the green chains or whatever, that was probably my favorite episode, which was like episode 3.
Yeah.
Next episode, he's already joined the group and fighting evil, and I'm like, when did this happen?
Just leveled up, all right? That was his training arc, real quick.
So that's something I also thought it was funny when, I guess, the main guy, I guess, spoiler, when he kind of died, or he died.
I guess he does?
And everyone's like, oh man, we believe in you. I'm like, do you even know him? Like, do you know?
I don't know you, so...
I'm all like, but they're like talking like, we've been in through
We're
like this...
best pals, bro.
We've been in this long journey. Like, it almost felt like you got like the Full Metal Alchemist at the end, which is like episode 50 something. But this was like,
I get you.
But it was like, that was 10 episodes in the making. So, but as you mentioned, like the fight was cool. Like the things, I think something I also thought about when I watched the show was, remember the one that you picked, the genie one?
Oh, Buchigiri.
Yeah. So I kind of got, not the same show, but sometimes I got a little bit of the vibes of it.
I can see that.
Yeah. But the show did like little things where, remember like the main girl, she starts off, she's like kind of mean, and then like she gets like, oh, but she likes cookies, and then she like she gets like more docile. So it did do little things like, oh, I do like you, or I like this character and all that. Even like at the end, the one from Full Metal Alchemist, the shotgun one or sniper one.
Oh, Sniper Wolf.
I don't know anything about her, but
she's twos.
But she was like cool, like
second the best. All right.
Yeah. So
I got confused with that name.
Which one?
Twos?
Yeah.
How many twos are there?
There's one.
There's one twos.
No, I just didn't know they were talking about a person.
Oh, yeah. That was like episode 2.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. No, whoa. Spoiler alert.
But yeah, that's.
And then there was a once, right?
There's one. One's the vampire.
Oh, the little the one with the vampire one.
Yeah, he's a ninja.
But yeah, and also it kind of did like the Naruto thing, like, oh, I'm not the villain, I'm the true villain. Or
yeah, I did do that. It, like I said, there was maybe it was a 52 episode series that got down to 12 episodes.
So, but as you said, it wasn't bad. Like, I didn't hate it. Like, I did enjoy it, but I wish it would have been. I guess that's my theme of today. Like, I probably do like that slower pace.
Right.
I don't mind slower pace.
Yeah.
I don't. That's why like Bleach, I'm not like, come on guys. Like I'm like, oh well, we're in the monster of the week right now, so I don't mind.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. It gets good in episode 200.
Yeah, see, that's when it really starts cooking. Woo. Alrighty then. How about Frank? Frank, sir, what about you? What about Mechanical Arms? Anything you want to get off your chest? How you feeling? Spoilers? Any late talk?
Wow, I hope I can say everything on. I was just so confused during the whole show. Because I was like he said, one of them he just suddenly joins them. I thought I just missed something because sometimes when it's subbed, I tend to skip stuff by like I turn around and I'm like, I'm not gonna rewind.
Right? Nah, wasn't important.
So I thought it was just the me problem until I was like,
oh no, it's there.
And then I kind of had the problem you guys had with Acro Trip, where it's like, I don't want you to explain this. Just go. Like, yeah, it's bad guys doing bad things. Go, come on. And it was just so much like background sometimes. I'm like, no, we don't have time for this. Come on.
Yeah, that's true.
And then I was just like, I'm not even understanding what you're saying.
Who's two?
But I loved the blue-haired girl. I just thought it was so funny how she kept misinterpreting things.
Which one's that one?
She's like the comic relief character that show up.
The one that's like from school.
She thought they were having a love triangle.
Oh yeah. She reminded me of the one from Kaguya. The pink hair one?
hair one.
Yeah.
And am I mistaken, or they later on in the show she mistake the green hair dude and the main character had to have a thing?
Yeah, yeah, she thinks like they're having a love triangle with the is it Aki, the redhead? Yeah.
I thought that was just funny. I also found funny the people like the sniper girl and then the light blue hair guy and I forgot the other one. When I guess they have their arms like muted.
Right. Muted. That's funny.
And then they start talking. It's just like the idol, I think his name was the smart robot. I thought it was just like just tells him to shut up. Like shut up.
Oh yeah.
It started off strong where me like ooh, and then it was just too confusing for me. And then they brought me back with the comedy where with the blue hair girl and then the robots were just it was just funny stuff. And but then at the end I was like, whoa, this doesn't seem like it's gonna have a next season. Like
wait a minute.
It gotta
go. Sonic was the producer on this one,
and I was just confused. Like, okay, so now this is the bad guy. Like the sister's not good. The sister's good. I mean, how am I supposed to feel? Like
she survived that somehow.
She's good or she's bad. Like I don't know. And then they kept saying all these complicated words like acrolinium or something.
Oh, the magical MacGuffin energy.
And then like, why do we want this? And then it's just like
it's good energy.
It was too much for me to follow.
It was kind of a pointless villain, huh? The one that had the sister. It was kind of pointless.
Well,
right?
Because it wasn't the sister, it was the mechanical arm that was controlling her.
That's what I'm saying. That villain was kind of pointless. Huh?
Well, it was the she was like the mini boss of the show.
Yeah, because at first I thought she was gonna be like the boss.
Right.
But then she's like, nope.
Here comes the moon lady.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? At the end, I just kept thinking like. At one point, I was like, "Oh my god, he just did the Luffy punch."
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
And then I did think it was kind of like Pokemon, where they're using the Pokemon right because they care about
right. They care,
and the other ones don't. They're just.
You don't need Lieutenant Surge. He's a jerk.
And then I thought that the final boss was just like an inspiration of whoever created his favorite villains.
Pretty much.
It looked like Madara. It looked like the guy. It looked like the guy from Demon Slayer with the 3 things.
Yeah.
And then it also looked like Sephiroth.
I saw that it was fucking Sephiroth. And like I said, you could feel their passion. You could feel it. You could see it too.
What else are they gonna add?
It was a great. It's a little bit.
You know what's funny? Like I kind of got the vibe too. Like it's just someone that really loves anime, and they're like, I love it all, and just
I'm gonna put it all out there.
Creating the Powerpuff Girls, like sugar, spice, and everything anime. And then the other thing I enjoyed a lot, the green guy. I think his voice was Naruto.
Was it?
I think it was Naruto. I swear. I don't
think it was him, but it sounds like him or her. I think it's a her technically.
I feel like I even heard him say "Date bayo."
Believe it.
And I just feel like he was like the most interesting character to me. And then like maybe
it is Naruto. Maybe
at the end I even called him like the hero of the show.
Well, yeah, he was definitely like the anti-hero, right? He was like the Vegeta, the base, the forte.
And then it just like slipped by me and suddenly like, he was the last bad guy. I don't know how that happened.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was possessed because the other body it happened fast.
Why would he possess the weak one?
I guess he needed some. How does he possess a dead body? Is been the real question. If you ask me.
But they said his body was disintegrating, so you need to find a new body. And according,
I don't know what happened, but green dude, he was cool.
He was cool.
He was basically Killua, right? Kind of
too. Yeah, I can see that.
I just felt like his lines, I was interested in what he had to say, and then the other one was just like white noise. I'm like,
something heart of the cards, friendship.
Yeah. She's
all right,
to him. He's I don't know. The main character was dull.
He is plain main
but that's the
teenager.
But that's the point, though.
I was gonna say.
And then the final fight was pretty and looked cool, but the thing that I didn't like was that I felt no stakes. Like they kept hitting each other. I'm like, is your HP going down? Because you look fine.
Yeah, some of the impacts. Yeah, it was a tough sell.
And it was just like, okay, show me that these like is he supposed to be a really strong guy? Show me that it hurts.
Flinch something. Show me your pain.
But it was cool looking, and yeah.
Yeah, I definitely felt that as well.
And like I was saying, the epilogue, they focus more on like all of them except the main characters, and then the main character was just a little bit like
But yeah,
Here I am,
They
guys.
did.
Yeah.
They showed everyone else, and then the main character was more like,
We're out of time.
I'm sure it was a fascinating. You had a fascinating life. There's just no time. There's just no time for poor Hikaru.
Well, I'm saying it is like I'm pretty sure they feel like they're not going to get a season 2, so,
So they put it all out there.
that's what kind of made me sad though.
It is sad, but
Yeah.
like the sad part is, I'd rather have that than have so many other animes that just like shrug shoulders and go like, oh,
Yeah.
that's it. And like sometimes there's a manga you could go to, like Berserk or so many other, like Claymore or something. You could get a better ending if you keep going, right? I was okay with it early on, but the more I watch it, the more I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'd rather have a rushed ending, even kind of like, speaking about Claymore, even the Claymore anime ending, it's almost incoherent, but I'd rather have that than nothing.
That's true though.
All right, Miles, you're the last one to go up for our spoiler talk here on Mechanical Arms. Anything you want to share with us?
You know, I think to me, it is amazing for the sheer fact that, Tantra could give the medal, give the medal to Hikaru and Alma. It's like, man, you guys were fast. Like, I thought I was fast in my run. You guys were faster.
Even Goku's like, whoa.
Because like I even said, this show feels like if you it's like it's condensed 52 episode season, packed into 12. Like we fit all this content into 12 episodes, but it also still kind of holds together as well. Like very the seams are breaking. No,
the major plot points are there. Everything else,
but it still holds. Like it's very condensed. It's like green soup.
Yeah.
But if the fact that everything works, and in fact, they're like, you could feel like they say like, we want to put everything out there. This is everything we got. We're not sure we're gonna make another one. No, this is our shot. This is our moment. This is for it's kind of like it's like your first Shinkai film, or like the first film or something. Like they want to put the most effort out there because we're not sure what's gonna happen afterwards. But we want to give this 100% all our effort. This is our baby. We care about it. This is we want to give it the most love and tender care because it's we're not sure if we get our season. We're not sure if we're gonna get another anime after this. We don't know what the future holds for us, but we want to put our best effort out there, which makes a lot of the more granted, obviously Mappa and all the other studios have more money, of course, right?
Yes,
but it does kind of make you want to watch Colors more because there are people that try more. They're more passionate towards it.
mm-hmm.
They're kind of like, well, this is this will pay the bills for this one.
Right.
There's your whatever B title, whatever this is, we'll just do it.
Here's your jellyfish. Was it jelly? They did Mappa did jellyfish.
No, jellyfish was Dokubo because now there were.
Oh no, they did Buchigiri.
Yeah.
That's what was the one they had to pay the bills.
Mappa did Buchigiri so that way they could pay for Kaisen.
Exactly, that's what I was getting at.
Saying as Jellyfish was made for Oshinoko season 2.
Also true. Yep.
But but it's like they have little summer. We're not sure we're gonna have another one after this.
Mm.
And it is 90s anime. There's nothing new here, right? But they try their best to present that project forward and more effort in trying to present their story that a lot of others just really don't do these days.
Is it a new studio?
Yeah, it's a brand new studio. They pretty much made the studio just to do this project.
I think they'll get greenlight for something else.
I hope so. They've worked. I looked at their credits because I was very curious, and they did like a assist production, but like on a very small titles and like shows like no one's ever heard of. But as a main studio, like the main source of the project, yeah, this was like their first thing.
Yeah, I believe they'll get greenlight. I think it did succeeded in everything that they aimed for. So I do believe they'll get greenlight. They should.
I hope so.
There's no reason why they shouldn't. I mean, if you really compare to other animes, they did a very well job. Some other animes, like, it just doesn't look that good. And this one, I never questioned the quality. As you said, maybe I had some moments, but overall, I never like questioned them. Like, oh, this looks bad.
Right, yeah. You could, yeah. I felt the same way. Any final thoughts there, Miles, for this one?
No, I think I pretty much said what everyone said already, and I just wish they got a chance to do even more or even do something different. Because they have a lot of good people running here.
Yeah, I agree. Hopefully, I mean, we just Ranma got a remake, so maybe in another few more years we'll get a Mechanical Arms remake, and we'll patch in the DLC, fill in those holes, and we'll finally get that 52 episode run this series desperately could use.
I think I read somewhere because I kind of looked it up, and they said that the Blu-ray was gonna add more scenes or something like that.
Yeah, usually most productions, that's what ends up happening. So that's why and actually in Japan, that's how they sell them the Blu-rays, because like, oh, new scenes and cleanup animation. And sometimes it's kind of disturbing how much like better it is. Like there's like one anime out there, I forget what it is, but there's like an example of like the broadcast version and the DVD Blu-ray release, and it's like 2 different shows.
It's like
crazy.
Like remember like Sailor Moon Crystal, whatever.
Oh, they did a lot of cleaning up.
Like you see productions of like during
they rush it.
Like, ooh, that's bad. But like when they clean up the Blu-ray version, oh wow, look, actually looks nice.
It actually looks presentable, which is sad because it's fucking Sailor Moon. You think there should be money in this project?
Yeah.
Go figure.
I have bad news.
Oh no, Frank.
It's not the Naruto way.
Oh, it's not. Okay, I feel a little good. Attaboy me. I seen a lot of episodes of that little ninja kid. I'd like to think I know what they sound like. All right. Well, and after spiking the microphones, we'll now go through our rankings this season, and we'll see who will become victorious of fall 2024. So I'll get us started off. And my third choice this season is Acro Trip. It's not a bad show. Like I said, I would technically give it a light recommendation. But out of the other 2 shows to choose from this season, it was the weakest of the 3, and that's why sadly it has to get third place. But it's a good. This is definitely a bronze and not a last place award, I like to think. So that's what I'm giving the third nod here. Let's go to Ivan here. We're just going a full circle here, Ivan. What would who's your third pick this season?
This one. I wasn't sure what I was gonna pick. So I've been debating. But I think number 3 I'm gonna go with Acro Trip.
Acro Trip again. Yeah. Okay. Frank, what is your third pick this season?
At one point, they were all 1, 2, and 3.
It's a tied close race.
Yeah, but I think Ranma for me.
Ranma, okay. There you go. And what about Miles? Let's see what will take the last third spot for our season.
I would say Acro Trip.
Acro Trip as well. All right.
But it's very like we're like
I'm surprised
like inches, like like centimeters, because there weren't any really bad shows really. There's minor hiccups here and there, kind of really like if we have to grade them on the scale, that's like we have to like really dig deep to find like the real flaws.
The big magnifying glass out here.
But overall they're all pretty good.
All right, so that leaves us now for our favorite anime of the season, because that means our second place is going to take second place. So I will reveal now my favorite anime of fall 2024. It was a close race, but I guess it's just hard to beat nostalgia because Ranma, one half, took the first place. I still really like the show. I thought it did animation-wise and speed pacing, I think, is a little bit more easier to digest for the modern setting. And yeah, I really like those characters. I like the silliness, the shenanigans, and once in a while bring out the serious notes of will they, won't they. And I really like Rumiko Takahashi's work, so it has to take home first place again for me. I tried, but I just couldn't say no. So sadly, Mechanical Arms, which I really also really enjoy, is going to have to take silver place for me. All right, let's go to Ivan. Ivan, what is taking home the gold for you?
So, I said it. Ranma is one of my favorite shows, and like this season, just made me love it again. Like the manga. I showed Frank. I bought like the newer volumes now.
Oh, the multi-pack ones.
Yeah, the multi-pack ones, and so I've actually been reading like so.
So second place.
Yeah. Even though like I kind of was approaching it as more like
gosh darn it,
well, you didn't do that quite right. I just, to me, Rumiko is like one of the goats in just writing, and I think something we didn't say earlier, but when I think of her characters, I always think of adjectives. Stubborn, dorky. I can always think of adjectives, and I think a lot of writers kind of don't go out of their way to make characters multidimensional. Like I was watching Inuyasha just because of Ranma, and I watched like the first 2 episodes just randomly. And in that episode, Inuyasha tries to kill Kagome, and then next scene he's chilling, and then the other scene he's Kagome gets mad at him, and he gets like worried. So you see like a lot of different like expressions, behaviors, and I think Ranma, that's one of the things it does very well. So that's why I do pick it number 1. I did. As we talked about Mechanical Arms, it was still an enjoyable show, but I think I ultimately would have preferred, which I feel both of them had pacing issues, but I think Ranma was better at it in comparison to the.
You weren't like, who's Akane again?
Yeah,
that helps.
Yeah, So I do pick Ranma as from the set of
from
shows.
the gold. All right, 2 golds. Let's see here. Can it go for 3? Frank, What was your favorite anime of this
Well,
season?
I can't go for 3 because I already picked it.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Darn it. Oh, darn. Spoilers. Damn it. Shh, Frank. I'm hoping they skip that accidentally.
Let's see. Well, on one hand, Mecha-Ude was like the type of anime I try to watch, and it was hitting all the boxes.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, I couldn't stop watching Acro Trip.
Mm.
So I'm like, kind of leaning more to Acro Trip. But then the ending of Mecha-Ude, I was like, okay, now, the Avengers Endgame happened.
Everyone's here.
Everyone, even people you don't
Channeling
know.
your chakra. They literally did the Dragon Ball Z shit.
Oh, they did.
They literally did.
And then the part when they were like snuggling. Oh, this is how it works. Like, that was just dumb.
Makes sense.
Oh, they were, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Giving out their chakra or their power.
In the end, I was like, I'm gonna pick Mecha-Ude because But then I started watching Acro Trip. I'm like, okay, no, I like this one. So
But
Acro Trip was my favorite.
But which one did you finish this season, Frank?
Which one did I finish? Ranma?
Well, you didn't finish Mechanical Arms either?
Yeah, I finished it.
Oh, okay, there you go.
But
Come to the dark side, Frank.
but
Come.
yeah, I was doubting myself because
Yeah, for the heart of the cards over
I
here.
thought it was just the phase that I was laughing at all the jokes, but no.
Staying with the Acro Trip.
Yeah, I'm staying with it.
I tried, folks. I tried. Alrighty, Miles. Let's see here.
Oh, this is gonna be really interesting how this is gonna end now, isn't it?
So let's see here. Was Ranma going to take home the gold or not? Well, I guess I think mathematically, I think Ranma would still take the gold. But let's find out. Does it take the gold home for
I
you?
don't know.
Gentlemen.
Well,
Mhm.
I feel bad because obviously you and Ivan both seen Ram before and you have more familiar with the story and things like that.
Mhm.
I mostly read Mexican Koku and maybe a little bit, you Natsura a little bit. So I don't really have that much nostalgia per se for it.
Just disappoint me already. Despite it's my own anime. Disappoint me and pick my show of the season.
All right. I'll just support you pick your show season. So for me, it's Mecha-Ude and Mechanical Arms because it does a lot of the...
Because it's just battle network, isn't it? That's why you love it, you bastard.
And he punches really hard, though.
He does. All
He
right.
punches, and they all transport, or they all
He just looks like, what was that? Hitman Reborn, by the way?
Yeah.
I went like, oh, wait, what was the name of that anime that like happened for 2 seconds?
And the fact that, the pieces come together and then all transform.
And they're machines and they kind of transform. Yeah, that's definitely is the Miles show, isn't it? The more I think about it.
The opening, it's like, yeah, it's a banger. It's like we're doing this, the opening is pretty good.
I do like the fact in Mechanical Arms they like Gurren Lagann and every trigger thing, they always play like that song or the ending song when it's like the cool shit's happening. You're like, oh, you get a little pumped up. It's the song I know and like. Woo!
Yeah, the battle theme. I call it like the battle
Yeah,
theme.
basically, yeah, it becomes the battle theme.
Also, the one that had a really good battle theme was the one Shy. I love the battle theme for that one.
Oh yeah, that was actually one of the yeah.
I should probably go back to that.
Oh yeah, there's a season 2 of that show. I'm vaguely curious, surprisingly, about that show. I didn't hate it as much as I thought I was going to. So another thing to check out on the podcast list if you haven't heard our talk and review about Shy. There's season 2.
Vodka. Anyway.
But yeah, that'll do it for the season. So yes, I guess mathematically, Ranma will take home the gold, followed by Mechanical Arms, and Port Acro Trip will take it home the bronze. But still,
they're all good shows.
they're all good shows. I basically a light recommendation, Acro Trip, but this was a much easier season for us to review, or for me to review for the podcast. So
I blame nostalgia for my choice.
definitely that was a big part of it on 2 shows at least.
I like that, like recommendations. It's like a middle. Sometimes it's like a middle one. It's not like a
That's what it is. And that's where it is. And that's always like I always say like, okay, the quick answer is this, but the real answer is this over here.
That's funny. I would say it's a hard season for me.
Hard
Yeah.
season.
Yeah, because I couldn't decide.
Oh, I see. Well, there you go. Perspective of all things. All right. Well, that'll wrap up this talk about our animes. But don't worry, we'll be back with yet a fresh new set of anime talk coming at you. We'll do our previews of the now winter 2025 season. I have not looked at anything, so I have no idea what's out there. So it's going to be a learning experience for everyone involved, I feel like. And we'll talk about previews, and then we'll pick our chosen ones to get a full review at the end of the season and do a spoiler talk just like we did today. And that's, half our material we cover here on Taku Otaku. So if you're curious, make sure hit that like, subscribe button pretty much wherever you find podcasts, on Spotify, your Apple Podcasts, all the various podcast catchers out there, your Downcast and Overcast and Everyone Cast. We're there. We're also on YouTube, of course, and there Google Music now because I keep changing the way the Google stuff works. But pretty much where you find podcasts, you can find this thing. So wherever you listen to it right now, there's maybe your favorite way to listen to podcasts is also available for you depending on what subscription you have. Because I know I have different subscriptions and I have tendencies for certain apps than others. So don't worry, we're on everything. Of course, www.takuotaku.com. You just go there and listen to it on the good old-fashioned website. And there you go. Check it out. And we have a whole catalog. We're soon to enter our 3rd year, gentlemen, of doing this little shindig.
Cool.
It's crazy. And we're slowly on our way. We're in our little beta new podcast room officially. Hopefully in the weeks to come, it'll be a little bit more presentable. And fingers down the line, we might have actual video content for people to watch.
Welcome to early access, everybody.
Yeah, basically. So a little bit of learning curve for everyone. So hopefully you guys stick with us when we make those bigger, crazier changes. Hopefully it'll be exciting, new, refresher for everyone involved. But of course, before we sign out, I must thank everyone. So Ivan, thank you, sir, for coming over and sharing the love of Ranma and Miss Romiko because she's really good. And I'm fine to have other people who agree.
Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome.
And Frank,
it's a pleasure.
It is always. I always find it as well. Frank, thank you, of course, my friend, coming over with your gotcha fevers and your crazy adventures in foreign countries. And
can I say something really quickly? It bothers me when Chick-fil-A says my pleasure. I don't know why.
I don't go to Chick-fil-A very often. Is that like on the packaging or something?
No, when you like order.
Oh, they say that?
They always say my pleasure, and
every single time. It's like the company.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it bothers me. Like, it's not your pleasure. You don't care. You don't care.
I love taking your order, Ivan. This is the most exciting order I've had all day. You wanted fries with that? Whoa. This was my pleasure. No. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I'm like,
I'm doing my part, ma'am.
Yeah. I just want to throw it out there.
No, I didn't know that. That is interesting. That's a fun fact. Fun fact for Talking Taxi.
What brought that on? Like,
I don't know. I just because it said thank you for and I said my pleasure. I'm like,
oh no, it becomes the thing I hate.
Yeah.
Before I was gonna look at a mirror later on, like,
whatever I become. It's like gonna be like a little like Chick-fil-A visor or something. Whatever they wear out of their uniform.
Sometimes they're not even looking at you. They're like looking away, looking for the other cars. Like, oh, my pleasure, and they're not even like.
Yeah, my pleasure, sir. Whatever.
Yeah, and then I'm like, I'm right here. Like, acknowledge me. Mean it. Say it more.
Say my name.
Say more slowly. Pace it. Phrase it better.
See, Ivan likes a slow pace service and both his animes and his fast food, which is ironic. And of course, Miles, thank you.
Is this the final episode? What's going on?
I guess so. This is the fast food take of the podcast. Miles, thank you, brother, for showing your gambling addiction. Also, that you really love Battle Network as always.
But see the robot though, the punches.
They become bigger robots and they transform. And they become bigger. There's more than meets the eye.
I mean, when he got even big, when the fist got even bigger.
Oh, yeah.
When he got even bigger and like he had to punch his way into it, you see it all goes right in through every single stage. That was pretty cool moment.
So time to eat your heart out is my last note here on the podcast, it sounds like. And with that, I thank you guys, our listeners, for checking us out, and hopefully you'll check us out in the future. Until then, people, have a good one, and bye-bye.